and dirt and sand and everything else, and you don't care one bit, man. You're just all over it.
It's not sweet tasting. It doesn't taste like candy, but it sure seems like it when you're kissing them. It's the best cold kiss you'll ever get.
Someone will get a chance to kiss these bricks on Sunday afternoon as we bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of the 16th running of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral. Our coverage beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And DJ, take us back to 1996. And how did that all start? I mean, whose idea was it to go out there and lean over and give them a big smooch?
We were having a big time in Victory Lane, and obviously an opportunity that I'd only dreamed about. And so all of a sudden, my crew chief Todd Parrott, he's the one that deserves the credit. These guys said Dale Jarrett started it, but I was the driver. Todd said, "Come on, we're going to go do something." Had no idea. I was still enjoying Victory Lane. I was having a big time there. There's no reason to leave, but he said, "We're going out here and do something special." So we went out to the bricks. All the guys turned their hats around backwards, and we got on our knees and kissed the bricks. Great tradition. I've even seen some of the Indy. I think I saw Sam Hornish do it whenever he won the Indy 500.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. You started something that's going to be part of this racetrack in the history from now on. So it is kind of cool that you started that.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't get your opportunity there.
Yeah,
that's the bad thing.
Well, it is what it is. I still got the ring.
That's right.
Now, you missed out. You guys won it in 94 and 95, and the tradition hadn't started then. Now, you actually got to go back and do it again with Jeff Gordon's second win and then Bill Elliott's win. What about the fact that you're able, I mean, everyone, the crews now talk about, winning the race and then lining up and getting on those bricks and how special that is for an owner or crew chief.
It was really neat. Winning the inaugural, it wasn't done yet. Did it in '98? It brought it a little bit. It was a nice deal, but that day right there, because I knew how much that meant to Bill Elliott, and you could see we're happy. I went back in for a second one because they give you a big check when you're going to kiss those bricks too. So we were pretty happy. But that day, again, when you win here, that was something that Bill and I had talked about when I brought him back. There were things he wanted to do, and winning this race was one of the things that he wanted to accomplish. So for us to be able to provide an opportunity for him to do that and then be out there kissing the bricks together, that was a special day.
So many special traditions here, and Andy, I know that we've given you an opportunity to go out there if you want to. It's a little damp right now and just dodge those trucks, but go ahead.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day doing our NASCAR Now show about doing that. We were standing out there doing a little piece on it, and it just wouldn't be the same without Dale and all the guys that were part of that. It wouldn't be the same to do it. That's the part of it that makes it so special, is you line up with all of your guys and do it. And I think it's one neat tradition.
Yeah, I saw a picture. There was one guy there that was all in your deal, that Mike Ford. He was with me in '96, Jack Man, and then again in '99, and when we won here in the championship. He also was a part of your deal with Bill Elliott. He was my crew chief when I finished second here. I think it's 2004. Denny Hamlin's crew chief. Opportunity for him. He might have been a person that's kissed the bricks as much as anybody.
In a different uniform, because he's got a darn good shot. Spoke to Mike this morning. They have been working on their bank track program and felt like they've gotten away from the flat track stuff, but he said it feels like they're back on it and their car's pretty good, so we might well see him kiss the bricks on Sunday.
And Mike Ford, he's got a personal relationship with those bricks, it sounds like to me. Anytime he's kissing.
The infamous Yard of Bricks here, one of the great places in all of sports. And who will it be on Sunday afternoon? Who will be the next to kneel down and smooch the bricks at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway? When we come back, we're going to take you out to ORP for live practice.
What's going on? You told your friend we're going to Dave & Buster's tonight, didn't you?
Guys, it's a little early for ribs and racing.
Oh, is it?
Everyone's got a little fun in them. Bring yours back to Dave & Buster's for our $15.99 Eat and Play combo. Choose one of 8 delicious entrees and get a $10 game card, all for just $15.99. Dave & Buster's. Feed your fun.
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
The Craftsman Cordless C3 line. 25 tools, 1 battery. Bring on the to-do list. Innovation, better value. Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
Introducing One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, the first complete multivitamin in an energizing drink mix with more B vitamins and a guarana blend to support energy and alertness. One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, refreshingly healthy.
Right now at Lowe's, get 10% off Energy Star products throughout the store. And you can even ask for an additional 10% off all your purchases or special financing for 12 months when you use your Lowe's consumer credit card. Lowe's, let's build something together.
It's okay. Ugh, if only he were more evolved. Then he'd switch from cable to DirecTV and get 5 months of their best TV package for free. Yes, for free. Maybe if he had DirecTV, he wouldn't sit around staring at me 24/7.
To get 5 months free, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
$5 for the sub, huh? What about the drink and the chips?
Extra. Think a $5 sub is a good deal? It's time to unthink. KFC's new $5 fill-up boxes, each with a side and medium drink for just $5. Unthink and taste the unsub side of KFC.
The racetrack is definitely dry here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it has really come a long way in the last 20 minutes or so. You can see the good bit of the front straightaway is already dry, just up near the wall. A couple of damp areas up there, and the track drying continues. And NASCAR trying to decide, will they have enough time to get the cars to qualify? Here's a guy who definitely wants to qualify. Mad Max Pappas, his number 13 car. If we do not get qualifying in, he will not be in the race, and he would like to have a shot not only to be a driver who's raced in the Indy 500 twice, but a guy who's also raced in the NASCAR stock cars. Guys, what about the quandary that NASCAR has? They want to get qualifying in, but they also want to leave enough time if they can't get the cars qualified to be able to get them changed over for a final practice.
Well, it is a tough position for NASCAR because this is one of the more prestigious qualifying sessions of the year. It's not just a prestige to win this race, it's also a big deal to win the pole here. And I think they want to put some effort into trying to get that done, but it is important to get cars on the track for practice. It's just one of those tough situations and decisions that NASCAR is going to have to make.
Yeah, it is a tough decision. You want everybody to have the chance to be a part of this, but on the other side of it, this is about the race. And in light of what happened last year, I think it's most important that we look at getting some rubber back on the racetrack and making sure that these guys have a fair chance tomorrow.
And we really don't have a lot of cars this year, unfortunately, for the guys that would go home. But it is important, based on what happened last year, to make sure that we have a good race event this year. And I think that's what NASCAR has to be concerned about first.
Yeah.
Now, what NASCAR is telling us now is because the wind has picked up here and the track is drying so rapidly, they're going to hang in a little bit. They're going to hang in maybe as much as an hour to be able to try to get qualifying in here and maybe shorten that final practice, but be able to get both qualifying and final practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. While we wait for this track to dry, let's go over for some live race cars on the racetrack at O'Reilly Raceway Park. The NASCAR Nationwide car is getting set to go out. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Doc. It's, as you can see, dry here at O'Reilly Raceway Park because our track's a lot shorter than the 2.5-mile oval over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the guys are in the cars getting ready to climb in. Stephen Wallace and Eric McClure also getting ready with his number 24. And one of our substitute drivers, that's young Brian Eichler. He's going to be getting the 32 ready for David Rudiman. And we're just moments away from having practice here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Well, after a morning full of rain, the sun is trying to peek through the clouds, and we are on a dry racetrack finally here at O'Reilly Raceway Park as we are getting ready for our first practice session. And let's get caught up on what's happening down in pit lane. Shannon Spake, you're up.
Yep, we're getting ready to go out, practice these cars, but the double-duty drivers are on their way over from Indianapolis Motor Speedway right now. But there was a little bit of confusion here in the 16. Well, not really confusion, but Matt Kenseth, the driver of this 16 car this weekend, was kind of concerned about the time restraints. He comes over here, practices at 1:15. He pulled 13th over on the cup side to qualify. He was a little concerned concerned that if he did come over here, he wouldn't be able to make it back in time to the big track in order to qualify. The team was a little concerned because Matt has not run here since 1999. They do have Ricky Stenhouse on hand here. He is going to get in the car because Matt will come over, turn a couple of laps just to get comfortable, and then Ricky will take over the car. But Ricky, you haven't been here either, so what are you going to look for in this car today?
I'm pretty sure that Eddie Pardue and the City Financial guys got this thing pretty good. You know, last year City Financial Ford Fusion set on the pole, the 16 car did, and it's the same car we had at Milwaukee, so I'm going to say it's going to be pretty close. We'll probably run through a few changes, and you know, Matt will probably be pretty happy. He'll get up to speed probably, you know, 1 or 2 laps. He'll be good to go. So not really too worried about it. They should have a good race tonight.
Yeah, the team definitely has a lot of faith in Ricky Stenhouse, but there's a sigh of relief that Matt Kenseth will be able to come over here and at least shake this car down, considering he has not been here in 10 years. Jack?
Well, Shannon, for guys that are doing double duty, they just want to get some practice time in. But for guys like Bobby Hamilton Jr., there's a sense of urgency, not for practice, but more importantly, to get qualifying in. Bobby, when it was raining, you had the look of sad sack, and now all of a sudden the sun has come out. Do you feel as if you've been redeemed?
Well, we ain't got to qualifying yet. We got to at least get enough practice where NASCAR feels like there's been enough for everybody, and then they're going to let us qualify. But we got to make 2 laps to get in this show. Eckridge and Kroger came on board for this one race, and it's cool driving my own car. I think this weekend, if we can make it into the race, it's 250 starts for me, so didn't know I was around that long. But, you know, tickled death to be here. We just got to get a few laps into practice, make a run, make sure we're okay, and start tonight.
How difficult has it been, though, because I saw you, and it was weighing heavily on you. When you've got that hanging over your head, you got to make those 2 laps. You got to get qualifying in. You got to.
Yeah, there's a lot of gotta, and if you ain't careful, it puts a lot on you all of a sudden. You just don't want to do it like I hope it does right now, so I ain't got to fool with it. But then the driver comes out and like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm one of the best qualifiers here. If the stuff is right, we're going to keep going. You know, you build yourself up for it. This is what we do. I mean, it would be heartbreaking. I mean, almost like retirement heartbreaking if it was to miss this thing or something like that, because you put all your eggs in this basket. So, but 2 laps and start the weekend right and try to get through tonight in Indy.
Marty, got to get through practice, and then the magic number for guys like Bobby Hamilton Jr. who need to qualify their way in, 5:35 Eastern time. That's when we'll go under the green flag for those 2 laps.
And we're getting ready for practice. You can hear the cars firing up behind us. Let's talk a little bit about this in case people haven't been with us throughout our rain delay. Big opportunity, short track racing at its best.
This is a big opportunity for these guys that they're trying to show off to all the guys at the big track over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're finally getting on the racetrack right now, Marty. They've been sitting down there just going crazy, worrying whether they're going to get on the track, whether they're going to get qualified, whether they're going to get practice in. And right now, it's all systems go. These guys are going to be on a track shortly, and we're going to see a good race.
Randy LaJoie, a 2-time winner here. If you're in the cockpit of one of these cars, what are you thinking about now with the fact that we are going to be squeezed a little bit on time?
Well, one good thing is we still got a lot of time for practice. Qualifying is not till 5:30 tonight. We're going to have ample time to get the practices in. The guys that need to qualify, like you heard Bobby say, you know, they're going to work on their cars. So that's one good thing. We still got a great afternoon here at practice, and qualifying is not till 5:30. So these guys are going to be all fine. These guys are all jacked up. They had an early practice this morning. These guys are rolling, baby.
And guess who the first car out is? Last night's winner in the truck race, Ron Hornaday, as he, in the number 33 car right there, made history last night, winning his 4th race in a row in the Camping World Truck Series. And congratulations to Kevin Harvick and Delana and the entire team. It was a great race last night. 4 trucks coming down to the finish line.
He might not even went to bed last night. What do you think?
Oh, he's pretty pumped up right now. This 33 car, we talked earlier about Kevin Harvick last weekend, had one of the best runs this car has ever had. He really thinks that he's caught up with the Gibbs guys. The car looked fantastic. And I got to believe that Hornaday in this 33 is going to be unbelievable tonight. After that win last night in the Truck Series, and this car, the way it's been running, he's probably one of the favorites to win this race tonight, guys.
Randy, let's take everybody through the process here in the early going. We have a totally green racetrack, so what are the guys going to do here early?
Well, normally this racetrack, middle to the high groove, is the first one to come in. They're going to have to really work on that low groove tonight. So you can see these guys mainly running in the middle to the center of the racetrack, up to the high side. And one of these things you got to watch, Hornaday just almost got the right rear end to the fence, and that happens a lot here. You see a spring rubber already. So one of the crew chiefs is like, okay, is that mine? Is that yours?
We may get a caution because of that. We'll wait can see if it's in the race line. Helicoptering over from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Report is that it will be Kyle Busch climbing out. He's got his Snickers driver suit on. He'll be making the change over here and climbing in to get set up for tonight's race that you'll see starting at 7:30 Eastern over on ESPN. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards has already made it here to O'Reilly Raceway Park. A little bit different paint scheme than we're used to seeing the last few races on the number 60, but we'll get used to it very quickly as Carl gets ready to go out. Remember, last year, boy, he put on a heck of a performance. Down 3 laps after having an oil line come loose early in the race. Finally got back on the lead lap and finished 11th.
Marty, he is one of the guys that definitely will run good at this racetrack. I base a lot of the stuff I say about Carl off some of the previous racetracks he's run at. He was really strong in Phoenix, Arizona. They run this style of tire out there. He dominated at Milwaukee, ran that same style of tire. I expect Carl to be so good at this track, I think he's going to be just fine.
All right, there is the spring rubber, and let's see if we can figure out, oh, did it come out of the 33? Yes, it did.
Looks like the right rear. So, I mean, that's only about a 5-pound spring rubber, it looked like.
And remember, you talked about he almost hit the wall?
Oh,
it did.
Oh, man, I tell you, these guys, you know what, that's the deal. He's coming here right now with so much confidence after winning that truck race for last night. He just jumped on the throttle and went for it. Rubber fell out and he got in the wall, and that's not good early.
You know, one of the things that happens here, Rusty, is when you get your marks to figure when you're in the middle of the corner, you're looking at the straightaway. You come off these corners, and this straightaway wall, they're very shallow. And you lose them. You lose the wall, so you lose your field point because you looked out the right front windshield and you can't see the wall down the straightaway because it's a very short wall.
Well, the other thing is, the question everybody at home's probably asking is, he didn't know he lost the spring rubber, so all of a sudden he goes into that corner. How much does that affect the car?
I mean, it should tighten it up just a little bit, and usually that's, you know, he just put a little snap in that pickle. That's all he did.
Well, he's second on the speed charts. Of course, it's very early in the go here. Everybody's just working things in. And the guy who is leading the speed charts right now is Jason Leffler at a fast time of 22.3 seconds. It's going to get a lot quicker than that.
It's going to get quicker. There's no rubber on this racetrack. The guys that just went out early, I don't really like what they've done because they've already put a little abuse on their tires, and these guys are limited to 6 total sets. If it would have been me, I would have waited in the pits for about 5 minutes, let him go out, let him rubber this track up a little bit, and then go out.
Let's get more on Jason Leffler from Jackaroo.
Marty, he has a New Englander by the name of Scott Zipadelli calling the shots of the great Clips car. And I asked Scott just a couple of minutes ago what Rusty was talking about. Why have you taken a good car out so early? And he said, really, basically, we're not pressing the button at all right now as Jason brings the car in after some medium, as Zipadelli referred to them laps. We want to take a look now at everything and make sure it's all tight, make sure things have settled in. And so we don't get out there and get up on the wheel and end up dealing with something unexpectedly. So I think, as you guys alluded to, the speeds are going to get a lot quicker real soon.
Well, you can see they're actually going to work, and there's Jason. And why is it you race car drivers always talk with your hands?
You know,
that's we learn it from our wives.
That's Randy LaJoy that you want to call, ladies.
You have to, I mean, the visual aspect of this, you could say, okay, you break the corners down. I mean, yes, there's only 4 corners here, but when you break a corner down to the crew chief, these guys are hustling babies. Okay, now what do I got to do? I'm bringing you guys some Snickers, but you break the corner down, entry, middle, corner, off, exit.
Kyle Busch ran the truck race last night, finished 10th. He's running this race tonight, and of course he still has everything going on over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Is it too much on his plate?
Oh, you know, Kyle's up for the speed. He's been doing this all year long. He did it last year. He loves doing it, and you know, he doesn't despise it. So it's okay for him, and I think he gets himself all amped up doing this, so to speak, all jacked up, whatever you want to call it. And right now, he wants to get in the car, though, because he hears those cars running. He feels like he's losing precious time. But to me, it's not a bad deal, going back to what I just said. This track is getting rubbered up right now. I think it's about the proper time to get on the track. He'll be just fine.
He is near pit in. That's between turns 3 and 4. Remember, this is a very difficult pit lane. We're going to talk more about it throughout this practice. But he is all the way back there. And remember, the pit selection was based on where you qualified last week.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk talk about this a little bit. You see this curved pit road. You see the 18 car, Kyle Busch being pushed back. We've seen some crashes on this pit road as these guys get around the pit road. They can't see around it good enough. I personally like the straightaway all the way down where Brad Keselowski's at. That's going to be the best one of my eyes. But around this corner, things can happen bad right there in tonight's race.
All right, so there you get an idea. Let's check out on track news involving the driver of the 11 Incredible Pizza machine. That is Scott Lagasse Jr. And the word is he will be in the car for this race and Iowa, and then he will give way for a couple of races at least to Denny Hamlin. And they're basically telling us they want to do that in that Toyota to figure out if they really have a problem. They're not happy with the results that they've gotten with the team so far.
You know, Scott Lagasse doesn't have a lot of starts. I think he's under 35 starts. So he doesn't have a full year yet. This race team, CJM, has a tie with Joe Gibbs Racing and is sitting 17th in owners points, and they think they need to be better. So they're going to try Denny Hamlin in this thing. They're probably going to try some of the other Gibbs guys to fill in with this car to say, okay, you know, is it performance-wise, why aren't we better and why are we 17th in points?
Well, I hate it for Scott. Scott's a great driver, I think. I think he's a good driver, but as a car owner, I can totally understand why they're doing that, because you feel like you're lost. What have I got to do? Look, I've got this involvement with Joe Gibbs. They got the bodies on the cars look fantastic. They got good engines, all that. It's kind of a little bit of a look and see. Let's reevaluate where we're at. Is it the driver? Is it the car? But I will tell you, to expect Lagasse to be as good as Denny Hamlin, guys like that, would be tough.
Well, as you see, Scott brings it into pit lane, and right now he is running at about 23.2 seconds. That's almost a full second behind, and Matt Kenseth has made it over. So he hasn't driven here in 10 years, and he is strapping in. Stay with us.
I set these firecrackers off over and over in my head. Because if I can manage to outmaneuver this course, sparks will fly.
See original works of sport. X Games 15 coverage starts Thursday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Running a team and my racing keeps me pretty busy. I need insurance. It's on my side.
That's why the Earnhardt family's had nationwide insurance for more than 30 years.
I get the coverage that I need at the right price for me. That's what you can get when you call 1-866-500-5555. I trust them. You can too. That's on your side. Get a quote today.
Wow, sweet minivan. Woo!
That's minivan A to you.
It's raining! With the great taste of a McDonald's McCafe Mocha, a better day is possible. Freshly ground espresso, real steamed milk, and decadent chocolate. Go ahead, McCafe your day.
Buckle up, everybody, because we're taking a ride that can strain your relationships and hurt your pride. It's the credit roller coaster, and as you can see, it kind of bites. So sing the lyrics with me. When your debt goes up, your score goes down. When you pay a little off, it goes the other way round. It's just the same for everybody, every boy and girl. The credit roller coaster makes you want to hurl. So throw your hands in the air and wave them around like a wannabe frat boy trying to get down. And bring them right back to where your laptop's at. Log on to freecreditreport.com. Free credit score and report with enrollment and triple advantage.
Introducing One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, the first complete multivitamin in an energizing drink mix with more B vitamins and a guarana blend to support energy and alertness. One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, refreshingly healthy.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Motor Oil actively cleans out up to 15% of sludge the first time you use it. So feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Well, Kyle Busch has had feast or famine here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. In 2004, he won here. And then, of course, last year was dominating as he led 197 of the 200 laps. And there was a lot of action going on behind him, but he was in control. as young Colin Brown finished second right behind him in the 16 City Financial 4, but there he was. His other 2 starts, though, 20th or worse. So out of the 4 starts, like we said, it's feast or famine. And there he is out on track right now, and he is currently 11th on the speed charts.
You got to believe he's got a little bit of an advantage from running that truck race last night. He kind of feels comfortable. It's not like Matt Kenseth, who's going to jump in the car, and he's got to spend some time to figure the track out. He's had 200 laps last night to understand the groove and what this place is all about. And he's won here last year, Randy. That's got to be a big advantage.
Absolutely. I don't believe a lot of guys that do this stuff all the time. Matt Kenseth, after 10 laps, it's like he's never left the place.
Shannon, you've got more on Kyle?
Kyle Busch pretty quiet on the radio right now, which leads me to believe that he's pretty happy with the car. But you see on the right side of the screen right there, Johnny Sauter. Kyle Busch has got to be back in the helicopter at 2 o'clock in order to make it over to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He pulled 18th for qualifying today. So Johnny Sauter, because we will have about a half an hour left in the practice session, is on standby. And if the team feels that they need some more practice time for this 18, he will jump in the car and do so.
Well, here's the dichotomy, and I wanted to discuss this with you guys. He has 7 first or second place finishes in the last 7 nationwide races. The record is 9, but only 1 top 10 in the last 7 Cup races.
Well, there's no doubt he's struggling in the Cup Series, and a lot of people are talking about that because he's such a good driver. They're expecting more out of him.
Well, I mean, now here, guys, you know, he was only leading Daytona, and he got wrecked coming to the checker. So it's not like he hasn't been running well. He just hasn't got the finishes.
Take a look at the 32, and that will have David Ruderman in the car tonight. Brian Eichler right now is tuning the car up, trying to get the setup right for him. And let's check in with Jackaroo.
Great opportunity for Brian Eichler, as we said before. In fact, David Ruderman right now, guys, is the only driver of the 4 that are going to do double duty that has not arrived at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Just talked to his crew, and they don't seem at all concerned. They said, hey, Eichler can handle it right now, and shrug their shoulders.
And David's got a draw over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway of 34th, so he could be over here and getting some lap time. Maybe he's just going to come over later.
You know, this race team, this Braun race team has done a phenomenal job with both their cars this year. And I think David's like, okay, you get my car set up. He almost won the race here 2 years ago when Mark Green set it up for him. So they said, okay, set the thing up and let it eat.
Well, we talked about pit selections being made based on qualifying from last week, and Reed Sorensen, of course, qualified extremely well. In fact, because of that, David Ruderman's going to be in the number 3 pit box.
And I really think that's a big decision. I mean, I think that was good that he's got that good a pit selection, Marty. I do not like being in this corner like we talked about earlier, in that circle right there, that curved portion of pit road, because as you're coming around, you can't see anybody maybe pulling out in front of you. So I think that was a big advantage for David getting this good pit selection.
So as we move back out on track, let's check in with the number 6 of Eric Darnell. He is currently running 8th on the speed chart. Taking a look at the line last night in the truck race, and we've known this for all of the times that we've been here. You can try and run the bottom of this racetrack, but it's flatter, it's harder, and you really got to have some grip.
Oh, this place is really painful to watch because the racing on the bottom, the racing on the top, and you're waiting for one car to clear the other, and it never happens. They keep running side by side, and you wait for them off the exit of turn 2 and off the exit of turn 4 to slide up in front of a guy. And you know what? That is one thing that's so cool about this racetrack. And the question always happens, why does that happen? And it's because the bottom lane of this track is flatter than the top lane. There's more banking up on top of the track.
One of your 2 team cars on camera right now, Rusty, that's Brendan Gaughan, and currently he just moved up to 14th on the speed charts, but his last 4 races have been outside the top 10, and he has dropped to 10th in the points. You getting concerned?
Well, I mean, I think he's getting concerned. He was really upset with himself last week, and he got in a crash with Ricky Stenhouse, and he really took the blame for it, and he just shook his head and go, man, that's not going to happen again. But this is a week he needs to get back on track. He likes this racetrack. He's run here a ton in the truck series. He feels like he's got a lot of experience here.
Shannon, what's the latest from the 62 Can?
Well, I spoke to Brendan Gaughan this morning, and he was really looking forward to the race here this weekend. He said this track fits his style. And let me explain a little bit. Brendan Gaughan loves the high line. He drives that high line all the time. Says sometimes that's his weakness because he'll overdrive the corners. Well, here at ORP, of course, the high line is where you want to be. The only bad thing for Brendan Gaughan is he said, hey, that's where everybody else wants to be too.
Well, as you finish up, Shannon, I want to remind everybody it is a huge sports weekend in Indianapolis. We're racing here and also over at the Brickyard, but also the 2009 Olympus U.S. Open Series, which is here in Indianapolis, right in the heart of downtown, will be seen on ESPN Classic. So if you are a tennis fan and you're wondering why you're seeing race cars, it's because of the rain, and we're going to move the tennis over to ESPN Classic so that you can see it there. And as you can see, Brad Keselowski not waving to the crowd. He's trying to get a signal out.
That's right. He says, okay, guys, I'm all done. I'm heading into the pits. Rusty, you talked earlier on the outside and the inside. I mean, this is a facility that you have to discipline yourself to run the bottom. You have to have patience. You run that bottom, you know, you're like, oh, why not this guy cut me some slack? I'm going to pass him. And the guy don't have to cut you any slack. And so you sit there, and it really works on you mentally. And really, if you're behind two guys that are side by side, you're like, where's the extra lane? I want to go through the middle, and that's when guys really get in trouble.
Well, Ricky, let me ask you a question. One question I do have, how much discipline do you have to keep? I mean, I wouldn't want to go up there and take the right front fender and hit that guy, knock him out of the way, because he'd be driving me crazy.
Well, I mean, you still do that. I mean, we're going to see that later on tonight.
The thing I'm noticing right here, you saw that looking like a bunch of snails coming in there? That's because pit lane speed is 35 miles an hour. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Guys pulling in and out of their pit boxes, it's only 25.5 feet, and it's the reason why we're going 35 down pit lane. That hillside will be full of people. In fact, you can see they've already staked out their turf here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. We'll be on with the race at 7:30 Eastern.
At 155 miles per hour, Andy Roddick has the fastest serve in the history of professional tennis. So I've come to this court to challenge his speed on the internet. I'll be using the 3G AT&T Laptop Connect card. He won't. So I can book travel plans faster, check my account balances faster, all on the go. I'm Bill Curtis, and I'm faster than Andy Roddick.
Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network and get the AT&T Laptop Connect card for free.
The Craftsman cordless C3 line. 25 tools, 1 battery. Bring on the to-do list. Innovation, better value. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
That was me, Tony Stewart. Before I started using Swagger from Old Spice. Thanks, Old Spice.
The Brickyard means history, miles of traditions, and unforgettable legends. It means racing back to the bricks with fans on the left and on the right. It means having something to prove, having a story to tell. It means watching the best of the best of the best. It means greatness. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to ESPN with the Brickyard 400 tomorrow at 12:30. Telecast presented by Golden Corral.
Today we're doing a triple play, the Big Kahuna. First you got your digital cable with all your favorite shows. Then there's the internet, so you can chat online and download music super fast. And on top of all that, unlimited calling. That's a lot of calling.
If you're moving, bring home big entertainment with Comcast Mover's Edge. Set up or transfer your TV, phone, and internet services online, so everything's ready before you unpack. It's a huge deal that makes moving a little easier.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, B, B, B.
BBB, your Better Business Bureau, is now rating businesses with an ABCDF. It's great for consumers, great for good businesses. Start with trust. Go to bbb.org.
Bay Shred, Malikos Enterprises, and Billinger Painting Company. Find all sorts of reliable businesses at bbb.org and start with trust.
NASCAR Nationwide Series Final Practice, brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Well, we've got a red flag situation on the track here in practice because we've had some contact with the wall, and we'll take you back and show you. There is Justin Allgaier as they are looking up underneath the car. Didn't actually see what happened in the beginning. Here, we'll get our first look.
Well, it looks like it's just a classic case of spinning out. And Marty, it looks like he stayed off the wall. We actually thought he got into it a little bit, but he didn't.
No, you're
Good,
right.
clean spin, and come in and put new tires in that baby. And that's what he's going to have to do now. Let's stay on board with him here, Randy.
You know what? He picks the throttle up. Here he goes. Picks the throttle up. He wants to go full throttle, chasing it. And what he does, when you get that throttle wide open, it keeps you off the outside wall and drives the car into the infield.
Did a very nice job, though, of keeping it off. See how he lights up the tires, keeps it from backing into the wall, and gets it back heading straight.
Then he opens his eyes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, as they work on that one, we've got other stories going on in the garage. Shannon, what's going on with the 18?
Marty, you see Kyle Busch still sitting in his car right now. The car's a little bit tight on the high side, loose on the low side. The guy's making some changes under the hood. But the latest story is the team is telling me that Kyle Busch will not make it back here to O'Reilly Raceway Park for qualifying. Johnny Sauter has gotten into his fire suit. Johnny Sauter will qualify the car. Jason Radcliffe said, hey, that doesn't mean we're not going to win the race. It just means it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But we've all seen Kyle Busch start at the back of the field and how quickly he can make his way to the front. And another side note is the fact that Johnny Sauter was in the truck race last night, so he does have some track time here this weekend, which Jason Radcliffe says is a big plus. Jack?
Well, as we continue to watch these double-duty drivers, it looks like Carl Edwards is going to be fine. Colin Brown hasn't even put on his suit, so he's going to take full advantage of this practice session without any problem whatsoever. The same can't be said, though, for Kyle Busch or for Ryan Newman. They're going to, because they got an early draw back at the big track, they're going to take full advantage of this early practice, then scoot out of here, and their replacement drivers are going to get some time and have to dial the car in qualifying trim. Marty?
Thanks, Jack. You know, this is going to be interesting. We've seen Kyle do this before, but we should point out the last 7 races here have been won from a top 10 starting position, so track position is critical.
Yeah, yes, it is. But then again, I mean, you know, a starting position, that's all it is, the starting position. You look at Matt Kenseth's starting position when the year he won the Cup Championship, you know, it was like 16th. So, I mean, it's still, if your team is as good as those Joe Gibbs teams are, you're as good as Kyle Busch is. You know what's interesting? He was tight on top and loose on the bottom. So that tells you there's 2 different setups for this racetrack.
Yeah, that's kind of a nightmare trying to fix that. Take a look at the 29 car. Stephen Light out there taking a good
It's a good-looking car.
It's a good-looking car. The car's been running good, really good of late.
He is 14th right now on the speed charts. His best lap at 22.7. And he was one of our fishermen a little bit earlier during the rain delay. If you were with us, you saw them. There's a pond on the infield right inside turn number 4, and a group of them were down there. We actually saw one guy catch a fish.
You know, one thing I want to go back to talk about, and the fishing was funny, no doubt about that, Marty.
Sushi.
But, you know, I wonder how distracting it is for these drivers, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, guys like that, to be over here practicing. Then they bolt them in that car and send them right out on this 200-mile-an-hour long straightaway at Indianapolis to say, is your head in the game? Is your rhythm there? It's got to be a little tough to come off a short track and put him right in that thing. I just wonder if that's a smart thing to do.
What was the close? Because you've never raced here, so you never had that. You never had that double duty over on the big track versus here. What's it like?
You have to have so much focus going down into turn 1 in Indianapolis, and you know the whole entire racetrack. I mean, you've got to keep that car way out wide. You got to keep the momentum up, and here it's totally different. It's just bomb it down there, stand on the brakes, try to get the rear tires hooked up. Whole different style of racetrack. We were talking about getting the rear tires hooked up.
I thought he was loose on the bottom. That was loose on top. So they must have worked on her. You know, I think it's easier to go from a small track to a big track. I went from Dover, Delaware, ran my first ever NASCAR race at a speedway, flew home to New London, Connecticut to do a little short track event. And going from that big track, a 1-mile track at the time was huge, go to a little quarter mile, I forgot to lift. I mean, you tried running through, you're like, because your timing's all messed up, and you're like, okay, it's such a short track, I'm going to keep it wide open.
So what row of the grandstands did you end up in?
About the 3rd.
Take a look at Trevor Bayne. Another one of our rookies is the youngster, the youngest in the field this week at age 18. And you can see he's had 3 times where he's finished 12th, looking to crack the top 10.
Oh, Rusty, here's a name that's been helping Trevor is Gary Bechtel. Gary Bechtel has been involved with Trevor. He's a talent. He's a good kid. He's a heck of a race car driver. You know, this race team, Michael's Nationwide team, has been together probably the longest out of all Nationwide guys.
He's done a good job. We've been watching him week after week, and he hasn't been tearing any cars up or crashing. He's been pretty solid, but one piece of advice I would give him is pull his visor down. Doesn't need dirt in his eyes out there right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Or else change shields if it's too dark, because if you got in a crash, you got in a fire, and that visor's up. I mean, these are things that you need to tell rookies, little things like that. Doesn't want to practice like that.
Well, this is his first time here.
Yeah, he's one of 15 attempting to make their first race ever here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And he just moved up to 4th on the charts behind Leffler, Bliss, and Hornaday. That's some elite company.
Man, it looks like he's got a school bus steering wheel.
Yeah.
That thing is huge.
Hey, man, what are you talking about? That's the type of wheel I used to have. Nothing wrong with that wheel.
School bus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I watch you run school buses in Charlotte. Look at the attitude of this car, guys. I was pretty impressed with what I just saw. You can tell we're at a short track when you come off the corner and the front ends rear up on them, then they slam down in the corners. Some cars run around the corner with that front end just laying on the ground. Looks like they're doing a good job of managing this chassis.
Well, we saw it last night in the truck race on the onboards. Guys that were really set up nicely, it was just a little bit of input. And the guys that were having a handful, they were hacks on the wheel.
One of the events that I won here, they had a camera on the A-post looking back at me. And you think you're busy as all get out. I went back and I watched that video, and your arms don't move, maybe 3-4 inches. And, the only time you get busy is in and out of pit road and into your pit stop. Because if you're swatting flies in there, you're not going fast.
Well, we mentioned who the top 4 is already, so let's move back and show you the 38 of Jason Leffler. He's still on top of the speed charts. His 3rd lap was the fastest, 22.34 at 110 miles an hour. Right in front of him, the 28 of Kenny Wallace, who is 11th.
Herman's been here quite a few times. I'm not sure how many races, but, I mean, the NASCAR series has been here 28 times, and I think old Herman's probably been here over half of them.
And you're talking about Kenny Wallace. That's his nickname, Herman. Everybody calls him that. For whatever reason, it happened a long, long time ago. A friend of my father's nicknamed him that, and it stuck. But he loves this track. Kenny is a true blue short tracker. That's where he cut his teeth, and he expects big things here tonight.
This will be his 11th appearance. That's not the most, because we'll get another record set tonight. Jason Keller will start his 16th event here at O'Reilly Raceway Park in the Nationwide Series, breaking the tie with Tommy Houston. They both had 15 coming in tonight.
He's won a couple races here, and exciting races, and his crew chief when he won it was Steve Addington, who's now Kyle Busch's crew chief.
Well, we talked about the race. We'll be going action with a countdown at 7:30 Eastern, as we'll be here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. 2 years ago, Jason Leffler made history, giving Toyota its first win in the Nationwide Series. You're on board with him right now.
So we all going back tonight, right? What time we going? Can we play skee ball? Because I love skee ball. We're going to get some wings too, right? Because you love wings, I love wings. Who wouldn't love wings? Hey, baby. And maybe we can take home one of those stuffed animals.
Everyone's got a little fun in them. Bring yours back to Dave & Buster's for our $15.99 Eat and Play combo. Choose one of 8 delicious entrees and get a $10 game card, all for just $15.99. Dave & Buster's. Feed your fun. Our Eat and Play combo is just $15.99, and you can double the games for just $8 more.
Introducing One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, the first complete multivitamin in an energizing drink mix with more B vitamins and a guarana blend to support energy and alertness. One-A-Day Energy Advantage 2.0, refreshingly healthy.
Right now at Lowe's, get 10% off Energy Star products throughout the store. And you can even ask for an additional 10% off all your purchases or special financing for 12 months when you use your Lowe's consumer credit card. Lowe's, let's build something together.
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
ESPN.com/round 1. Round 5.
Oh yeah, all day long. That's right.
Round 15.
Let's go.
Mason Crosby. ESPN Fantasy Football. Play for free at ESPN.com. Follow your sports.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Hi, my name is Eric McClure. My superstition is a thing I do with my socks. Since I was 9 years old, I had to fold my socks over the top of my feet to make my feet fit in shoes.
Look, you gotta do it like that, right there.
I have a tremendously narrow foot, so it's something I've never been able to get rid of, so I can't get in the car unless my socks are folded over the top of my feet. My favorite sports team is the University of Virginia Cavaliers. Certainly I have an obsession about the Wahoos. Maybe get a motor home and travel the football circuit every week. I'm such a dork. My craziest racing moment, without a doubt, is crashing in New Hampshire in 2007.
This is Sports Center.
Okay, bad driving by you. Your license is revoked. I had my eyes closed during most of it, so I missed it. But that was pretty wild, and unfortunately what most people know me for. I wish I had something exciting to say.
And there's Eric McClure as he is pulled off track right now, and he's not anywhere near pit lane. He's over getting the tires checked with Goodyear, and he is 41st on the speed charts right now. His best lap at 23.37. That's over a full second off of Jason Leffler's time that you see at the top of your screen.
I'll never forget that race in New Hampshire race backwards. That was crazy.
Well, the nice part about it was he was able to walk away earlier this year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the 500. Vitor Mira was not so fortunate. He had a similar situation, and he's in a back brace right now, hoping to get back by the last race in Chicago. He is making good recovery and has been back to the racetrack. Take a look at Ron Hornaday right now, and there you see won last night's race here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. 4 in a row in the Camping World Truck Series, and he's now 3rd on the speed charts. Check in with Brad Coleman in the 20 car. There he is. He is 7th.
Brad is hoping for a good race tonight. This is a great opportunity for him. He's in one of the best cars. We've seen the 20-car win with Joey Logano in the car. Joey's done a great job driving it. Got a new sponsor on the side of that car tonight, though, guys.
Yeah, Shannon, what's the latest from the 20 camp?
Yeah, guys, but first let's talk about the sponsor. That's actually Joe Gibbs, their owner, his book, Game Plan for Life. And I spoke with Dave Rogers today. He told me that this race is so important to him because, of course, their team owner is also their sponsor. They really want to win this race for Coach. But as far as Brad Coleman in the car, he's been happy since practice began. He actually told Dave Rogers that the car has been good. It was a little tight on exit, but Dave Rogers has been persistent in trying new things, trying to make that car even better. He told his young driver, hey, I want to start this race just a little bit loose, a little bit free, and then I think we'll be good. But that 20 car looking good right now.
And Joe Gibbs is scheduled to be with us during the pre-race ceremonies tonight on Countdown. So if you want to tune in, we'll hear from Joe himself. Checking a little further into the field, let's pick up the 27 of Jason Keller with a very unique paint scheme. Jack?
Yeah, it's commemorating the hands from Riley's Children's Hospital, and Jason Keller has just turned about 5 laps. That makes his total so far today of about 10 total laps. He has spent more time, guys, on the weight pad than anybody here during this practice session. I talked to him about it. He says the car was just so bad that we had to go totally radical and change the setup. Wasn't quite sure if it was going to work. He did 5 laps now, and he's headed back in yet again to try and find the handle on this race car. Marty, Randy and Rusty, you know there's nothing more frustrating than when you roll one off the trailer and it's evil.
Oh, I hate that when that happens, Jack. Jack, one question for you I got, though. I wonder, did they try a setup that they normally don't run? Is this kind of an experiment they went when they went out and they got to go back to a normal setup now?
He did allude to the fact that they had gone a little radical on what they were rolling off the trailer, but when I talked to Jason just before he went out in that last run, he said it shouldn't have been as bad as it was, and that's why they spent so much time, and this is what eats away at limited practice time. Had to put it back up on this pad, they had to go back to the baseline setup, and then make your adjustments from there. So when you're really confused, you go back to basics, and that's what Jason Keller's doing right now.
Well, Jason's a two-time winner here. In fact, he picked up his first ever Nationwide Series win back in 1995. Now, while you guys were listening to Jack at home, you saw the 16 with Matt Kenseth getting out. He is heading for the helicopter to head back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Shannon?
Well, Marty, when Matt Kenseth got out of the car, Ricky Stenhouse walked over to him, and I saw Matt Kenseth say, really tight. These guys have been working on this car. They brought it in. They worked on it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Matt sitting in there patiently, the team waiting for him to be able to get out. Matt went back out, made about 3 laps. They're still not happy with this 16 car. So now it is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s time to get in the car and try to get this right for Matt Kenseth.
That's one of the things, guys. You know, I filled in for Harvick about 3 years ago when he was doing this, and it is so difficult. You're like, okay, Kevin jumped in. He goes, man, the car's junk. I got to go. And you're like, oh, man, at least give me a good car to practice. But if these guys are going to work on it, he's no different than Jason Keller. One thing, going back to Jason Keller, it might be location. Their shop is in Nashville. I'm not sure if they have a 7-post machine. Rusty, you guys are on it a lot, so I wonder if they just don't have the proper tooling out in Nashville that they can compete with these guys.
Well, it very well could be, because when you got to drive that far down to basically the World Center of NASCAR, Charlotte, North Carolina, to use the equipment down there, that's a disadvantage, I really think, but they got a new shop and I really like it.
Well, let's remind you the reason Matt Kenseth is bolting for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We will be going over there at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Qualifying will begin over at the Brickyard. Take a look at Scott Wimmer right now, currently 18th on the speed charts. You can see his fast lap versus his last lap.
Marty, I'll tell you, Scott Wimmer is a short track ace. Grew up in Wisconsin. It's all short tracks up there. And for him to be driving this 5 car, this Dale Earnhardt Jr. car today, he's got to be loving life at the moment, because this is a really good car. He's a really good driver on the short tracks, and this place fits his style.
And he not only has he been driven for JR Motorsports, which is an offspring of Hendricks Motorsports, you know, he was here in RCR car. And the years at the RCR cars were just unbeatable. Just sort of like the Joe Gibbs cars are this day and age. I mean, Scott Wimmer has had plenty of shots, and I'm sitting here and he's sitting there like, okay, I got to get me a win in one of these good race cars.
And while we got a chance, let's check in on the 66 of Stephen Wallace. As anybody that was with us last week knows that Stephen did not have a real great race and had a run-in with Mr. Lagasse. I take it all that is behind them. They have patched up.
Oh, yeah, they're good friends. They really are, Marty. And that was just a racing accident. I mean, we talk about getting loose all the time, and Scott went down the corner and got loose and slid up into Stephen, and it caused a big wreck. But, you know, I've done that myself, so let's move on. Right now, he's just working hard to try to get this car handling good.
And just in case you were not with us last week at Gateway International Raceway, close your eyes, Rusty. This is what happened as the two got together. Stephen felt that Scott took him out. You came immediately and said, no, it was just a racing deal, but you weren't able to get on the radio and tell Stephen, don't go any further. And they never made real contact, but Stephen let him know that he wasn't happy. Made a trip to the NASCAR hauler, got his wrist slapped, and here he is.
Well, it's been a great year for him. He's top 10 in the points. He's been running strong week after week, and that was a hometown for the sponsors who really wanted to show off and give him a good run and end up getting in a crash. But that's behind him, like I said. These two are good friends.
Well, and to give you an idea just how good a year it is, he is at a career best in the points right now, 8th. And there is Matt Kenseth saying bye-bye. He'll be back later tonight to race. He's on his way over to Dr. Jerry Punch and all the guys over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as they'll get ready for qualifying at the top of the hour at about 7 minutes from now.
You know, one of the things, Rusty, gets you so aggravated with Stephen, he knew there was a guy there, and next thing you know, he's turned around backwards in the fence. He didn't understand that the guy underneath him got loose. And when that guy gets loose underneath you, you know, there's not a whole lot that you can do other than give yourself a lot of room to get in those corners.
Randy, you know what? He didn't know really exactly what happened to. He went home and watched the replay and watched what we saw, guys. And then he had a whole different thought process. He says, man, he just got loose. I said, yeah, there's nothing intentional there. It just happened. That's racing.
All right, while we take a look, there is the car that David Ruderman's going to be driving. What's the latest, Jack?
Well, Marty, don't expect to see David Ruderman over here. And I talked to the crew and I said, why is David the only Cup guy that hasn't come over? And I got this cryptic answer, which I think as a current car owner, Rusty Wallace going to learn things as well. You got to remember, David works for 2 different teams, one on the Cup side and one over here. We didn't expect to see him today. So I got a feeling that maybe more important things commanded Ruderman's time. Maybe not on the racetrack at the big track, but maybe up in the trailer.
And what you see these guys doing, Jack, they're probably just relocating the truck arm. The truck arm that holds the rear suspension in. You see the guys tightening the bolts. What they do is they split the truck arm to help the car rotate. They call it the rear steer situation. The more you split them, the more the car changes wheelbase in the middle of the corner. Helps the thing rotate the center of the corner.
So while they finish up, let's check in with the man who's won more races here at this track than anybody else in the field. 12 times in sprints, midgets, and silver crowns. Mike Bliss has stood on the victory podium here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And right now, he is second on the speed charts. 22.6 seconds to the 22.3 of Jason Leffler.
Marty, you heard me earlier talking about basing how I think these guys got to run off at different racetracks. This year at Richmond, Virginia, Mike Bliss, if you guys remember, dominated that race throughout the night, just killing everybody, and actually broke a suspension piece. Well, this tire is the same style of tire, probably the same style of car. I expect big things out of Mike Bliss based on how good he is in short tracks and based on how good he ran at Richmond this year on that short track, guys.
One of the things that these guys do, the more laps they put on the car, everybody tends to slow down. So these guys, I see guys running 26, 24 laps. Right now, it looks like Keselowski with the most laps at 27. He's about a 1/10 and a half faster than these guys.
Now, you got a good point there. You know, a lot of guys went out early when the track was green and laid some fast laps up, but they've slowed up almost a second. I mean, I'm watching Jason Leffler there. He went out and laid a lap of a 22.34 down. He just went by at a 23.20, almost a second slower. So I'm looking at these long runs and see how good these guys really are.
And remember, last year, the #1 of Bliss spun early, got as far back as 31, and came back to finish third. It's going to be fun to watch him tonight. Let's get an update on the 18. What's the latest, Shannon?
Well, Marty, it's very interesting down here today because usually it's the crew chiefs and the drivers that are stressed out, but it's PR people all over the place concerned about getting their Cup drivers out of the car. This is Kyle Busch's last run in this 18 car today. He will be getting out of the car. Johnny Sauter will be getting in. The car still needs to turn better. They made, turn better through the centers. They made front shock changes to the 18 car. Right now, Kyle Busch has not said anything over the radio, but they are telling him he needs to hurry up and get back here so he can make it over to the big track for qualifying.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth is 13th in the qualifying order over there, and Kyle Busch is 18th. So, yeah, he's getting ready to come in.
Well, the good thing right now, guys, is they've all had practice. You're talking Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, guys like that. We've had enough runs right now. If NASCAR said, hey, we got rain, we got to start the race, everybody's in good shape right now.
One of the things we're going to see, guys, 30 laps, 1 second difference. 30 to go. These guys come in and put tires on tonight.
Remember, you get one more set of tires in this series than the truck guys got last night, so tires will play a key role in tonight's race. Here is the practice speeds for the top 10. You can see it starts with Jason Leffler. Trevor Bayne still holding up in the #4 spot. And Terry Cook, obviously, he's got that qualifying setup. Probably going to be a start and park. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards. Carl's 9th, and Kyle is 10th. So that's going to do it from our end of the speedway. We're over at O'Reilly Raceway Park, about 6 miles away. Well, there's much more coming your way from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cars are rolling at Cup qualifying, and we're going to send it over to Dr. Jerry Punch and everybody over there. Take it away, Doc.
Thank you, Marty. And the sun is indeed shining here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the track is dry. Everyone's excited. The cars are lined up out on pit road. The crowd moving back in, and we are anticipating to be just moments away from getting pole qualifying underway and hustling over from ORP, where you guys were calling the nationwide practice. Got to believe that's Matt Kenseth coming over, because Matt is one of the early cars to go out. He is scheduled to go out in 13th overall, and so they're going to have to hustle and get him on the ground in a hurry and get him over to this line and get him in a car to go out to qualify at Indianapolis. Thanks so much, fans, for staying with us. We know we've had rain showers in the morning, but this is a special day. It always is in Indianapolis, as the first car is on the racetrack, and it is a former Indy 500 winner, Sam Hornish. Oh, they got him on the ground, and now Matt Kenseth will have to hustle to get in the golf cart. That's right outside of the backstretch and get inside. He should make it in the car before it rolls to qualify.
As long as he doesn't stop and play a few holes of golf, he'll be okay. He'll get here in plenty of time.
Guys, now what about this racetrack? Sam Hornish is the guinea pig, the first guy to go out. A lot of people are going to be watching what happens with his Dodge.
Well, I think that there's going to be a little bit of extra grip. Even though that we had a hard rain, it washed some of the rubber off. The track's still cool. I didn't see them really blowing it hard with jet dryers and things like that. So I think with this soft tire, the guys that go early are still going to be able to get good laps on a clean track.
Yeah, I don't think that rubber down determines the amount of grip on this racetrack. I think it's that surface that we've talked so much about that really, is hard on the tires. But I think it has a tremendous amount of grip. So I still think these guys going early are going to have an advantage, like you say. As the sun comes out and it heats up a little bit more, then we could see the times go up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's just a predetermined factor that the early draws will be good. I think what's going to happen here is these clouds that you see hanging around are going to be the determining factor on who gets the best track conditions as far as temperature.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., who'd been under the weather yesterday, a little bit of a flu, now coming out of the motor coach and headed out to pit road to get qualified. His car very good in the final practice session.
Fast lap for Sam Hornish. 50.16.
And that is faster than he ran all day yesterday in practice. Sam Hornish driving for Roger Penske, who has 15 poles here in IndyCar competition, but has never had a pole in the NASCAR stock cars at Indianapolis.
We only had a couple of drivers yesterday that in the practice session that broke the 50-second barrier. Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya, I believe, were the only guys to do that. Mark Martin ran a fast time of 49.82 yesterday, so actually there were three that ended up. Casey Kane got down in the 49-second bracket, so good lap for Sam Hornish. Especially being that first guy out. Oh, man, having to sit around and wait.
Okay, boys, watch this. Perfect. We'll see how good it is.
And how about Michael Waltrip? He spent the last 45 minutes working out in his motor coach. We showed you his private workout. He's got to be tired.
Yeah, he was looking for a break. Yeah, he's going to get sit down for a few minutes. He can sit down here for about 50 seconds.
So what Michael can go out and do, and he realizes he may not have many more opportunities. They made an announcement a few weeks ago that they would have Martin Truex in the 56 car next year full time, and that Michael would run a limited schedule in the 55 contingent upon sponsorship. So he may be looking at this as one of his last chances to come to Indianapolis as a driver.
Yeah, it really is, and a place that Michael, as all drivers do, really loves to come to, likes to compete. Finished in the top 10 the very first race here in 1994, so he's looking for good things. Whether this is his last opportunity to run here or not, he's really brought this team to a point that they're contenders each and every week, and so I know he wants to get the weekend started with a good run here.
In the final practice, Michael had run a 50.63. He was 28th of the 46 cars late yesterday afternoon.
Well, through turns 1 and 2 there, he picked up some good speed, but it looks like he's got just a little bit late to the gas because his back straightaway speed now is off down.
Yeah, it looked like his car was hung out a little bit. He didn't get it right to the bottom there in turn 2, and that's so important, so you can really get that drive off of turn 2 and down that long back straightaway.
We're always talking about that exit speed being so important, and you see he probably had to get out of the throttle coming off of turn 2, and you see why it's so important, because you lose that speed all the way down the backstretch. You don't actually be able to catch it back up until you get to the next corner. See, it starts to rebound a little bit in 3 and 4, but lost a lot of speed.
Yeah, it looked like he might have just been a little too aggressive in turn 2, trying to carry a little too much speed there, and that'll get you. That's the one thing you'll hear these drivers talk about. Very easy to overdrive this racetrack, especially in qualifying.
And that is a 10th quicker than the best lap he ran all day on Friday. The first 2 cars have gone. We've got 44 more cars to qualify. Who will it be? Who will be the pole sitter when the day is done?
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Wow, sweet minivan. Woo!
That's minivan A to you.
It's raining!
With the great taste of a McDonald's McCafe Mocha, a better day is possible. Freshly ground espresso, real steamed milk, and decadent chocolate. Go ahead, McCafe your day.
Chips are everything.
tools used to bully, trap, or bluff, simultaneously staging battles and keeping score. Their strength is in numbers, capable of intimidating or driving a player to desperation. And in the end, all that matters is that they're in your stack. We play at FullTiltPoker.net.
Roundup Extended Control does 2 jobs at once. 1. Kills weeds to the root. 2. Forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control.
Attention homebuyers and real estate investors. REDC and Auction.com have been ordered to liquidate over 800 bank and lender foreclosures across America. Single-family homes, condominiums, townhomes, and more must be sold in this online auction starting August 3rd. View all property and auction details now at Auction.com. Open house dates are July 25th and August 1st and 2nd. See auction details and sign up for free auction notifications at Auction.com right now. That's www.auction.com.
ESPN Fantasy Football. Can you turn your salary cap into fantasy glory? Put your GM skills to the test with auction drafts from ESPN.com. All for fans, all for free. Play today at ESPN.com/fantasy.
Pole qualifying continue here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the winningest driver this year in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition, Mark Martin, on the racetrack in the 5-car. And it was just a couple of weeks ago that Mark Martin went to victory lane for the 4th time in 2009 as he dominated the night, leading 4 times for 195 laps at Chicagoland Speedway. One of the tracks Martin had not won on in his career, as is this track. He has not won at Indianapolis, although he has come so close here so many times. He's had 5 top 5s, including a 2nd place finish, 2/3 and a 4th. And he has started on the front row, guys, 3 times.
You can see him working the steering wheel right there.
He is on that wheel right now. He's run the fastest lap of anybody so far this weekend in happy hour. So if he can at least match that, he'll be the pole sitter.
3 poles so far this year. And when we talked to him a little while ago, he said he knew he had a pretty good car, had to get it better in the race trim, but it's obviously pretty fast in qualifying trim.
He's got that car hung out pretty good, Ray, and that's what you really have to make a good lap around here.
Well, you know, even as we talk about it being very textbook, but you still have to be very aggressive when you qualify here.
Using up all the racetrack you can see out of turn 4 there to get that front straightaway speed.
Be well down in the 49s with this lap.
What a lap here.
49.43. Wow, man.
That is by
fast, buddy.
Oh, that's an understatement.
Yeah, that gives the other 43 something to look at there, doesn't it?
See, he didn't even think about running another lap, did he?
You're unbelievable, buddy.
Break out your old guys with T-shirts.
I should have run a 49 flat with it, but I'm just too old. Not young enough.
Yeah, we're not buying it, Mark. Sorry.
Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, earlier today we reported that Dale Earnhardt Jr. was feeling under the weather. He woke up yesterday morning, 5:30 in the morning, just sick. Yesterday, in between practice sessions, he was sitting on the garage floor, hands over his face. Right now, he just made it out to his car. Lance McGrew, his crew chief, standing next to him. Lance told me that Dale will qualify the car. However, Junior's driver, Brad Keselowski, who's over at ORP, is going to come over here in the next couple of hours for the final Cup practice session, sit in the car, make some adjustments, make sure that he can fit in Junior's seat in case he needs to relieve Dale Jr. in tomorrow's race.
Jamie, thank you. Dale Earnhardt Jr. not looking like he feels real good there, but focusing on trying to get concentrated on what's going to happen here in qualifying. 34 car on the racetrack. That is John Andretti, and John will be making his 21st start at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His 11th start in the Brickyard 400. He has also run 10 Indianapolis 500s. He was the Rookie of the Year back at Indy in the 500, I should say, back in his first start.
You should know every bump in this track, as many laps he's made here, and just gets a little bit loose right there off the corner.
Yeah, he's about to know a piece of that wall right there off turn 2, wasn't he? But you have to use up the racetrack. If you're getting things done here, you use the whole track, especially out of the 2 and 4.
I see a lot of guys that'll, scrape that wall on the entry of the corner because they're trying to get that angle. They're trying to use up every bit of that track. So you'll see guys hit it coming off, and that's kind of a natural thing. You can kind of expect that. But a lot of times you see drivers actually rub it getting in the corner.
Always did it.
Just way too loose.
Way loose
Way too loose.
It seemed to me I could almost do it every time, count on it every time between 1 and 3, one of those places. I was trying to get that arc into turns 2 and 4 to really carry the speed. So it's not they're not paying attention. It's just that's what they're trying to do. Dave, you with Sam Hornish?
Yeah, DJ, and he was definitely paying attention because he was the first car on the racetrack today. Fastest lap you've run this weekend, Sam. What was the feel in the car on the green racetrack?
The car wasn't too bad. We were just a little bit free through turn 1, and each of the other 2 laps, each of the other 3 corners, I slowed down a little bit, trying to keep it from getting free. And then all 3 of them, I was like, I could have been a little bit quicker. So just that little bit of nervous feeling going through 1 kind of hurt us a little bit for the rest of the lap. But all in all, to be the first car out on a green track with all the jet dryers and stuff just going around, we know it's going to be slick. And if we would have been able to qualify this morning, P1 would have been obviously the best place that we could have been. So we got the draw that we wanted, just not quite the right time when we wanted to be able to go out.
You got to have the draw and the weather, I guess, guys, right?
Got to have it all working for you here, Dave. It's all about getting the breaks. And here is the 26 car, Jamie McMurray, attempting to qualify for his 7th Brickyard 400.
We heard Sam talk about, and fans may wonder why he was talking about the jet dryers being out there. It's not really they're putting heat in the track. It's that we've always thought they put a little bit of residue on the racing surface from that jet fuel that comes out there and makes it just a little bit slippery.
It absolutely does put that residue out. Those jet engines burn pretty efficient, but they do put a little oily residue, and they focus that thing right on the surface, so it'll put a lot of that on the track. It takes a little while for that to kind of evaporate or to wear off.
I think one thing we're going to see here in watching Jamie McMurray go through turn 2 is anybody, we're obviously going to compare the rest of the cars till somebody beats Mark Martin, but he made a tremendous turn 2. You can see where Jamie lost some time there to him, and I think we're going to see most drivers in cars do that.
Wait, you think someone's going to beat Mark Martin?
He said he should have run 49 flat. He was just too old. Every time he goes out, I'm even more amazed that they got.
We're going to have to watch and see if we've got a pattern here. Maybe the track's a little bit freer because a lot of these guys seem to be complaining about the cars being free or losing a little bit of exit speed. So a guy that maybe had a car a little bit tight yesterday afternoon is going to be somebody that's going to be fast today.
Yeah, which will allow some of these other people to make some adjustments out there a little bit. Air pressure-wise right now is the only thing they can do.
Yeah, man, you got to be watching your TV if you're a crew chief.
Got to believe that those guys listening to the drivers and listening to us, maybe making some adjustments. This guy here, he adjusted his car all the way down to a 49.436 second lap. Mark Martin right now on the pole at Indy.
Man has always craved a challenge, and Adam Richmond travels the country to take on the biggest, beefiest, and boldest foods, one delicious bite at a time.
Wow, that's hot.
You have no idea. Living with a travel bug can be a challenge. Man vs. Food premieres Wednesday, August 5th at 10, only on the Travel Channel.
My kids call me the shredder, because every bill I get goes right in my
inbox, not my mailbox. I pay for everything online so I can get these text messages. They're called spending alerts. I feel more in control. My husband feels
funky, bungy, and crunky, but I've stopped using my pets' names as passwords.
At Citi, we know everyone's talking about keeping money safe, and we've got lots of ways to help, like spending alerts. Because when your money's safe, your mind's at ease. That's why Citi never sleeps.
We're midway through the season. Who is baseball's MVP right now? VidPro 45, what do you think?
Well, I've taught millions of people how to harness the power of their computers.
What does that have to do with baseball?
With my CDs, I'll have you up surfing the web in no time.
Actually, we already do that.
What do you got to lose? Try my product.
Not everyone can talk sports. Can you? Join the debate live on the all-new Sports Nation, weekdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN2, presented by Toyota.
Save up to an additional $4,500 with government vouchers on your new purchase at Antioch Toyota Scion. Take advantage of the best deals we've ever seen at Antioch Toyota. Improve your gas mileage and save money at the same time at Antioch Toyota. Pick up the new 2010 Toyota Corolla for just $99. That's right, $99 a month. Or grab the 09 Toyota Yaris for just $89 a month. No kidding, $89 a month. Make the smart choice and head to Antioch Auto Center, serving Contra Costa for 20 years. So big they named an exit after them, Auto Center Drive off Highway 4. Save up to an additional $4,500 with government vouchers on your new purchase at Antioch Nissan. Take advantage of the best deals we've ever seen at Antioch Nissan. Improve your gas mileage and save money at the same time at Antioch Nissan today. Pick up the new 09 Altima for just $14,095. Or the new 09 Versa for just $9,060. That's right, $9,060. Make the smart choice and save thousands at the Antioch Auto Center, serving Contra Costa for 20 years. So big they named an exit after them. Auto Center Drive off Highway 4.
Qualifying continue at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and here is Dale Earnhardt Jr., an ailing Dale Earnhardt Jr., getting in his brand new race car that he hopes to be able to put in the top 5. He was very good in the final practice. Let's talk to the guy right now who sits atop the pylon. Vince.
Mark Martin commented, he's just too old. Those were his words, and I don't think anybody's buying that, Mark. But you wanted it to be a little quicker. Was there something you left out there, or was that the race car?
The car just it was sliding a lot more than I expected. So, you know, we'll take the time, but I certainly was disappointed with the drive of the car. We were really good at the end of practice yesterday and thought that we might, you know, might really roll. But I'll take the time, and it's a pretty good lap time, and we'll go racing.
Yeah, 49.4 at this point, the only one under the 50 mark, guys.
How about Junior right here, though? He's on a great lap. Got off turn 2 real good down the backstretch.
Yeah, miles per hour at the end of the back straightaway, 204.
Loses just a little bit in the short chute.
See him back out a little bit and letting the car roll right here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. does not have a top 10 start. In 2009, his best start was 11th at Talladega. That could change here as he slashes by, and right now he is second on the speed charts, 49.843 seconds.
Yeah, that was a great lap, and that car looked plenty free, Ray. Coming off turn 4, it looked like he was chasing the back end.
Yeah, Andy, I'm wondering, you know, we always blame it on sun clouds, but today we've got clouds, we've got sun, and in most of Junior's lap, he had bright sun. And as you guys know, coming off of 4, it's like you've used up your tires, you got the heat in them, and that's where the sun's going to affect you worse, and it seems that's where he lost the most time.
You got to be fast on pole day, not only in the race car, but you got to be able to go from place to place in a hurry. Just minutes ago at O'Reilly Raceway Park, Kyle Busch, the points leader for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, now at a dead sprint, trying to get out of the racetrack. There's a little grassy area outside of turn 4 at ORP. There he is, jumping in the helicopter. Now, that was just minutes ago, and now this is live. He just landed here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and he is trying to hustle because his car isn't that far, guys, from going out. He is 18th in line, and right now we have the 7th car already going out to qualify. So looks like the Nationwide Series points leader will make it.
You can see a smile on his face. He's having fun. He's enjoying that. I know he'd like to have had a little more time to talk to his crew chief, but he was enjoying that.
This the guy right here knows how to sit on the pole at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's done it before. A little out of the groove right there, though. That's gonna hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, that's where you just have to pedal the throttle. When you get up there, you just can't get wide open back like you want to and carry the speed.
And it's hard to believe that you're seeing that trace up there, how much it kills that straightaway speed when you've got to lift off that throttle just a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, you've got to be committed to that lap. If you're going to run a fast lap, you got to commit to it. And then if the car doesn't stick, especially at this racetrack, it seems like it absolutely kills your lap.
You can see really working the front wheels right there, having to work the steering wheel a lot.
Let's see what the current record holder in qualifying can do coming by, and that's 50.71. I got to believe Casey's going to be a little disappointed with that lap.
Yeah, he's trying another lap right here. He's still, like Ray said, in this hot, the sun on the track, you've used up all the tire on that first lap. He gave it a shot through 1 and he shut her down.
And how about the guy who formerly drove this car, Clint Boyer, with Jamie?
And in yesterday's final practice, or second practice of the day, he was 9th. You guys did some qualifying runs. What are you expecting now, Clint?
Well, it's heating up so fast. It's unbelievable. You'd think, qualifying this late, it really wouldn't be a factor, but it seems like it is. Mark posted a big number up there. That's a Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet. Shane, all the guys built me a new car for here, and old girl's fast. We're just going to have to get the elbows up and go for it.
A lot of rain earlier, Clint. How much of a factor do you think that'll have on the rubber you guys laid down yesterday?
Well, if I make a good run, no factor at all. If I mess up or something, it'd be a huge factor.
Spoken like a true champion here. Doc.
We'll see what he can do. A new configuration car, and here's a new color scheme. for the 1 car, Martin Truex Jr. We mentioned he made an announcement a few weeks ago. He'll be leaving this team in the end of 2009 and move over to drive for Michael Waltrip Racing in a Toyota for the next 3 years.
Yeah, and you see him come by the start-finish line. He's heading to probably the most important part of this lap is getting through turn 1. If you mess that up and you're trying to compensate for that, then you just find yourself in more trouble. And if you can get your car through there and it feels pretty good. You heard Sam Horner say he was loose getting into 1, and then that affected him the other 3 corners. So a big product of how you're going to run and what your lap's going to be is that entrance and exit of turn 1.
You hear Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, who have a lot of success here, obviously, talk about this being such a momentum racetrack. You got to maintain momentum if you're to be consistent in qualifying and on race day.
Yeah, it really is. You try to carry as much speed, stay off the brake as much as you possibly can, and obviously be in the throttle as much as you can with these long straightaways.
Keep digging, man. Keep digging. Keep digging.
50.08 seconds, third quickest right now for Truex. And again, like many of the others, Andy, we're seeing these guys just shut it down after 1 lap.
It's just so hard to make any more fast corners after you've taken the goodie off those tires.
8 cars have gone out to qualify of the 46, and right now it is Mark Martin atop the charts.
We go through slumps like everyone else. And when things start going bad like that, sometimes the best thing to do, watch the tape.
Now look right here, your shoulder, you're dipping it. Really? What concerns me is this motion here.
Yeah, the posture is good, isn't it? Is that bad?
It's not good. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
Yeah, that was a poor effort.
Eventually, the great ones always figure it out.
Things obviously are neck and neck in potential to lead changes by the day.
I'm embarrassed.
Is that bulky wallet a pain in the... Do you struggle to find your cards, ID, and cash? What you need is the Slim Clip, the amazing new wallet that holds everything you need in less than half an inch. Now go from bulky and fat to slim and compact. Slim Clip is sleek and ultra thin to comfortably fit right in your purse, bag, or pocket. From credit cards to cash, you'll always find it fast. The secret is the patented double-sided grip-tight clip that securely hold up to 30 bills on one side and 6 credit cards on the other. And unlike leather wallets that stretch out so everything falls out, with Slim Clip's special raised edges and locking clips, you can shake all you want and nothing will ever fall out. Slim Clip is engineered from durable stainless steel, so no matter what the abuse, you'll have a lifetime of use guaranteed. There's nothing else like it.
This is small, compact, it fits in a pocket. I could carry it with me wherever I could go.
I like the Slim Clip a lot better. It's smaller, it's easier to get in and out of your pocket, and this is just a pain in the butt, literally.
And here's something a regular wallet can't do. Slim Clip business cards right to your briefcase, or clip it to your car visor to hold parking stubs and insurance cards. Stop the pain from bulky wallets and stop searching for what you need. Order your Slim Clip that holds everything you need in less than half an inch for the incredible TV price of just $10. It comes with a lifetime replacement warranty. If it ever breaks or bends, we'll send you a new one, no questions asked. Plus, it makes a great gift any time of the year. As a special bonus, we'll include this super bright keychain light to light door locks, read menus, and much more. Yours free. And here's the best deal on TV. Call right now, and as a free gift, we'll send you a second Slim Clip plus a second keychain light as a bonus. Just pay separate processing and handling. That's 2 Slim Clips and 2 keychain lights for the same incredible price of just $10. Order now.
Call 1-800-535-4064 to order Slim Clip for $10 and receive the double offer free. That's 2 Slim Clips and 2 lights free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Call 1-800-535-4064.
Jeff Burton getting ready to qualify here. Can he turn his season around at Indianapolis Motor Speedway? And Denny Hamlin, he came so close a year ago, led until 10 laps to go. Loves the flat racetracks. They are coming up, but on the track right now, as we continue the qualifying, it is the 12 car moving out David Stremme, who is a native Hoosier. Boy, how much would he love to do well at this racetrack?
Yeah, I know it means a lot to him. This team has really turned things around. The Penske organization as a whole, their cars are a lot better. Some of the finishes that David has obviously doesn't reflect all of that, but they're really working hard. Roy McCauley and his whole group, they have a good organization there, and I think David's just trying to get back in and fit in these cars. I think it takes some time to understand this new car.
Well, I know he's excited, certainly from being from this area. But, DJ, I'm looking around. I'm looking at the flags. I'm looking at the fans. Something I'm seeing now that we haven't seen since we've been here is a strong wind. Is that going to affect these guys, and where?
Yeah, it can affect you, certainly. If you get a headwind down one of these straightaways, certainly make a big difference, or a crosswind in these corners. If it blows hard enough, it can really affect you, so you have to be careful and know what to do. I always found that if I had a headwind, particularly down the back straightaway, the closer I got to the wall, most of the time you want to stay away from the wall. But I found that you could actually pick up a little bit of speed by staying closer to the wall down that long back straightaway. So we'll see if any of these guys try that.
See how he got into turn one faster than Mark Martin, the gauge lap we're using, and it looks like maybe he could have overdriven the car there because it seemed like it hurt the rest of the lap.
Yeah, it's easy to do. You're carrying all of that speed. You get out here to qualify. You're all jacked up and ready to go. You want to get as much as you can. So it really makes a big difference. Dave, what's Dale Jr. saying about his lap?
Well, let's ask him. His quickest lap of the weekend, as you might expect. Dale, how is the car? And then since we've been hearing about you all weekend, how are you doing?
The car's pretty good. We're hoping to get some more practice later this afternoon to be able to work on it some more. I had a stomach bug, about a 24-hour bug Thursday night. It's about the worst thing I've ever went through in my life, but I'm feeling much better, just getting a lot of fluids, and we'll be ready to go.
If you practice this afternoon, will you spend all the laps in the car or just take a few and make sure it's okay?
Nah, I'm gonna run them all. I got, just as like just a safety precaution, I got Brad here, and he might have to get in the car for a lap or two just in case something happens Sunday where we might need him. But it's probably all just a waste of time. But we're gonna do it just to be safe, and we got Amp Energy and National Guard, and we want to do a good job for them Sunday, and this car here is the first car that Lance is truly really built from the ground up, and he's really proud of it, and I want to do a good job for him, and it's doing pretty good so far this weekend, so I want to stick it out, and I think we'll be all right.
All right, glad you're feeling better. And guys, you know how big that can be, a crew chief to finally get a car that he has tweaked onto the racetrack.
Very excited about what the 88 car could do here. Well, as you mentioned, the first from the ground up, the new configuration at Hendrick. And Jeff Burton, a former pole sitter at this racetrack, and Jeff said yesterday, we were visiting last night, about how he's had abysmal luck the last few weeks. Finished 37th 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland.
I think he started out a fan of the double pump restarts. After a few weeks, it kind of wore off on him after he tore up a lot of cars.
Yeah, he's not going to be very happy with this lap either, I don't believe. It's actually the slowest of the 10 cars to qualify so far.
He has the old configuration car that for Richard Childress Racing. The new ones are right now that for Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. And guys, the track temperature is coming up, and that's not going to be good for the guys that are going to be coming on the racetrack.
No, it doesn't look. It looks like the last group of cars that they just don't seem to be hooked to the racetrack. And too, it looks like they're loaded, and then they got to make a correction and get off the throttle, and it's really killing their speed.
That's a lot of track temp increase in the short amount of time we've been qualifying. You see the shade right there in turn 2. A lot of guys will be looking for that. These clouds that maybe cover the racetrack and help them on their lap.
Well, as you watch this car go on the racetrack, Denny Hamlin, who's been awfully good here. Let's talk to a guy who's won the Indianapolis 500, and the question for the weekend is, can he win this race?
That's a big question. He won it back in 2000. He's actually running the retro paint scheme, got the retro fire suit. So are you as fast as you look here?
I hope so. This Target Chevy's been pretty good. Everybody, they keep doing a really good job every week, giving me a great car. We were pretty good in practice. Both practices we had a good car. It's all about the consistency. Hopefully have a good run today and see what happens tomorrow.
What are you expecting from qualifying? I know you guys put some effort into that yesterday.
Yeah, I think everybody did. Most of the people run one practice and race trim, one practice and qualifying trim, so it's what it is. We had good car yesterday. The track is very different today. We'll see.
All right, Doc, he almost won this thing 2 years ago in his first effort in a stock car.
He sure did. He finished second. In fact, he was running fourth last year when he cut a tire, so he has run very well here in 2 trips to Indianapolis.
I'm telling you guys, Mark Martin made an incredible turn 2 and exit of that corner and down the back straightaway. He's beat everybody by quite a bit. You can see it, Ray, just like you said, these guys are running out of grip as they get over to turn 4.
Yeah, we saw Denny Hamlin get, use up all the racetrack he could, and that just says to us the car is sliding. But, DJ and Mark did an incredible job, but I'm starting to think that maybe the track temperature is getting these guys a little bit.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And it's just going to heat up more as these other guys go. So I think these top 2 guys are sitting pretty good.
Denny Hamlin 4th overall right now. They're all still chasing the 5 car, the 50-year-old Mark Martin.
Join the debate live on the all-new Sports Nation, weekdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN2, presented by Toyota.
We're going to settle tonight.
I picked a place. You picked a lust.
There's someone else here. He's got the whole house ready.
My family's in here. You can save them.
Please state your emergency.
The Collector, rated R. Starts Friday.
Whoa! That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance, but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-229-0166.
Inventors, InventHelp can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Call 1-800-236-7211 for free information. That's 1-800-236-7211.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series at ORP at Indy, tonight at 7:30 on ESPN.
Qualifying continuing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway after a delay here this morning because of rain showers. Here's the 33 car, reigning Nationwide Series champion Clint Boyer.
See some shade now on the front straightaway. And if we could get some of that shade all the way around the racetrack, we might get that track temp down where some of these guys can challenge Mark Martin. If we don't, and that sun stays out like you see right here, I just don't think anybody can beat Mark's time.
He'd trade that shade on that front straightaway for some down in these corners quite a bit and cool that off. That's where it's really important.
Well, Clint got through 2 there. Let's see how he gets on down the backstretch. But again, looks like he's losing speed. That little blip there, is that where he had to get out of the throttle and was able to get back in it, DJ?
Yeah, that's pretty much where he couldn't get maybe wide open into the throttle, and that just kept him from carrying the speed that Mark was able to. And that's just translates to grip. And as you said, the temperature is a big part of that.
See, this is a lot better lap than his teammate Jeff Burton made just a moment ago. It's this is one of their new generation cars, and it should be showing up on the track, and it is so far.
And he is 3rd overall. They were talking about how much quicker he had gotten in the final practice session where he was 11th or 9th quickest, and now he is 3rd fastest, 50.063 seconds. Let's go down and visit with the guy sits 4th right now, Dave.
It is Martin Truex Jr. and the one car, if I understand correctly from your radio transmission following the lap, the one corner was your nemesis today.
Yeah, Bonus said I lost it in turn 1, and I thought I lost most of it in 4. So we kind of struggled yesterday, so that was a really good lap for us. We picked up about a half a second from practice, so happy about that, and look forward to practice this afternoon, get to work on it some more, and hopefully have a good run tomorrow.
All right, and the fans have to keep track of that bright purple race car on the track, but it's the same number 1, Martin Truex, guys.
We will indeed watch Martin be a different color scheme. There's the guy that we saw hustling over here just at the top of our show, Matt Kenseth, one of 4 drivers doing double duty. He'll be racing tonight at O'Reilly Raceway Park in the Nationwide car.
we've always talked about how difficult sometimes it is to jump out of the Nationwide Series car into the Cup car to qualify on a weekend, but this makes it even doubly tough when you jump out of one at a 5/8 mile racetrack, fly over here, and 10, 15 minutes later, you're back in this thing going like twice the speed.
Yeah, one thing we haven't talked about in making a good qualifying lap here is getting up to speed coming out of turn 4. You have to carry that momentum and that straightaway speed coming to get the green. If you happen to slip a little bit or don't feel comfortable with your car there, then you're not going to get the lap you're looking for.
Yeah, it looked like Matt did get off of 4 good down the straightaway, but it looked like he got into 1 a little bit too hard there and got just a little bit loose getting in, and that is not a comfortable feeling here at Indianapolis.
Matt Kenseth trying to become just the 3rd driver in the 15-year history of this race to win the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year. Dale Jarrett did it in 1999, and Jimmy Johnson did it in 2006.
That car is real loose, Ray. It looks like it's loose all through all the corners. That's Drew Blickensderfer there, the crew chief, he'll be talking to after this to try to get that straightened out.
And Matt will be talking to him just a few octaves higher in voice than he was when he went out. I mean, loose in here is not good, is it, DJ?
Not good. No fun at all. And you just can't carry speed. That's your biggest thing. And if it happens in that first corner that you take, then you're that way the rest of the time, and you just have to be more careful.
But I hit the dirt and get into 3 somehow. I'm not really sure how I did that.
You could hear him say he's loose, and then he hit the dirt going in the 3.
It turned a little better than he thought.
Yeah.
Well, that run was better than what happened to him when he came here a year ago. Matt has a history of 2 second-place finishes, but it was not good in 2008 because he explodes a right rear tire, and that takes the right rear quarter panel completely off the car.
You see debris flying all over the racetrack. Right here, it just shredded that car. They also have to stop just a little bit right here and clean up some of the dirt that he kicked up over in turn 3.
Yeah, you can make a different entrance into turn 3 than you can 1, and you really want to get low, but that's a little bit maybe too close. Let's see as Matt goes into turn 3 here.
Hey, you want to be? Whoa, wow, man, he kicks up quite a bit there. Yeah, they're going to have to clean that up.
Whoa.
So NASCAR will take a brief hold here in qualifying to go out and check up the racetrack and do a little sweeping as Matt coasts back in. Right now it is still Mark Martin atop the pylon.
Play on FullTiltPoker.net to win a trip to Las Vegas and a chance to appear on the new TV show Face the Ace. It's your chance to play on national TV. Heads up against the best poker players in the world for a shot at $1 million. Free qualifying tournaments for Face the Ace are running now, only at FullTiltPoker.net.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean, not just oil, Pennzoil.
We dared Ted to try Long John Silver's new Baja Fish Taco. Sounds weird. Loosen up, Ted. It's just Long John Silver's famous fish and crumblies topped with Baja sauce for only 99 cents. New Baja Fish Tacos from Long John Silver's. Delicious. Sounds weird. Tastes delicious.
ESPN.com/round 1. Round 5.
Oh, yeah. All day long. That's right.
Round 15.
Let's go.
Mason Crosby.
Oh,
ESPN Fantasy Football. Play for free at ESPN.com. Follow your sports.
Tomorrow, first comes love.
I'm getting married.
Then comes Kendra. The girl you love has a new life. And a super new show.
I'm doing grown-up things like cooking, decorating. You don't have a couch. We got a stripper bowl. I've grown into a very mature woman.
Tomorrow, welcome to Kendra's world.
Into my new, crazy, messy life.
Kendra, don't miss a super new episode tomorrow at 10, only on E!
Jobs are available. Salaries start at $45,000 to $65,000 per year. Local industry wants you. Los Medanos College's P-Tech program will prepare you for a career as a process technician, a program designed by local industry to put local men and women into these available positions. We will train and connect you with excellent paying, in-demand jobs with local companies. Don't wait. Full scholarships and tuition refunds currently are available. Log on to www.losmedanos.edu/P-Tech. Check out the P-Tech program at Los Medanos College now.
Qualifying continuing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've had a momentary lull because of NASCAR having to clean up the racetrack. Matt Kenseth's car kicking up a little bit of dirt. He's getting down. He talked about getting all the track. He got all the way to the inside on the grass and mud area.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of an early entrance into the corner. You're trying to hit the apex, which is on around to about right there.
Well, if your car's loose, you kind of have to defend. You can't arc the car out where you want to. He was probably turning in a little bit shallow, but that actually was just a little too shallow.
And he commented about the wind, and there is the wind blowing across the racetrack. It is a crosswind blowing across from the front straightaway toward the backstretch, or from turn 4 over to turn 3. Let's talk to a driver who is yet to run. Kurt Busch standing by with Jamie.
Well, he's patiently waiting right now, and you know, if we got qualified rained out, you would have been 4th, but you said you wanted to qualify. Does that mean you have a pretty quick race car here?
I'm just nuts, I guess. It's a lot of fun to qualify here. It just seems different than any other track on how you gain speed, and you have to hit all your marks just right, and it really challenges you. And so 4th would be great. After Mark Martin's lap, I'll take it. I'll take qualifying getting rained out. I knew he'd be fast as well as everybody else. Big group of guys right now are going, like Johnson, Gordon, Montoya, my little brother. So we'll see how we stack up. We feel like our Miller Lite Dodge is pretty good.
Kurt, I have to ask you, you come to Indianapolis, the man who is your boss is the man here. He's won 15 Indy 500s. What's it like to be here representing him?
You'd think it'd be easy on the stock car side, but you know, there's that pressure that's there that I don't want to think about. I want to think about delivering his first Brickyard 400 to him, and just need to treat it like a regular race. Even though it's Indy, you still just try to go, hey, got to hit your marks, do your job, and hopefully be there at the end.
What a special moment that would be, Doc.
And Kurt Busch will be the last shot that Roger Penske will have to get a pole today, because Sam Hornish has already gone. So is David Stremme. Hornish, by the way, 6th, Stremme 7th. And Ryan Newman is buckled in. We talked about drivers who grew up in Indiana, and Ryan Newman is the best in terms of average starts at this racetrack. He has come here 8 times. There's the average. He has never qualified worse than 8th. And the Rocket Man gets around here pretty well.
He does, but he's going to have to use all his talents with this racetrack. It was heating up as it was, and now it's been sitting here for about 5 minutes. And you know, except where they were working on it, I mean, the whole place is still just heating up some.
Yeah, he's going to have to pick up about 3/4 of a second or a little more over his practice time of yesterday to beat Mark's time, and that's a tall order.
I'm sorry, Dale, but going into turn 3 right there, it's not as critical to hit that corner on this warm-up lap as it is this one here, right?
That's right. I always try to ease out a little bit and not use up any more tire than I had to going to 3, but really carry speed off of 3 and then try to make that turn 4 my best corner.
Ryan making his 280th career NASCAR Sprint Cup Series start. He said he came to Indianapolis. His mom brought him here when he was 14 years old. He came to town to buy tires for his USAC car, and he heard some thundering engines over here, and he and his mom together were able to sneak into the racetrack, and they were testing stock cars, and he was able to go up and meet his childhood hero, Jeff Gordon, that day. His hero, as they were testing stock cars for the first time back in 1992 here.
You can see he carried a lot of speed into 1, made that good, but he paid that price a little bit on the exit of there, and then that's continued. So you can just see as he continues on, losing a little bit more grip with each corner.
Yeah, he's still going to have a decent lap, but it's not going to be the lap he was looking for.
They're just fighting that track temperature. You can see his son basically on the track all the way around. And I'm not sure, even on a cool track, if anybody had anything for Mark Martin.
Yeah.
And Ryan Newman will clock in 7th overall, 50.193, which puts him right behind Sam Hornish and in front of Hornish's teammate David Stremme. Joey Logano, remember the record-holding youngster, 19 years of age, now talking to his teammate there, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin has already gone and qualified 5th. When you talk to a teammate that's already qualified, what kind of information are you trying to get, DJ?
You're just wanting to know the grip level of the racetrack. How aggressive can I be? Would you have done anything different to your car, air pressure-wise, or anything that they can do right now? It's basically a little reassuring, too, would help.
Let's go down where Vince is caught up with Denny Hamlin.
Well, and let's ask Denny exactly what you conferred with Joey Logano. What kind of feedback did you give him?
I just told him the track is pretty similar to what it was yesterday. The grip level is about the same. We picked up a little bit of time with our Toyota Camry, but not what we were looking for by any means. We needed a good few tenths right there to be somewhere in the top 10. So, we're just going to keep working with our FedEx office Camry and try to get it better. But our balance was a little bit tight, so maybe they can do some adjustments to help them.
Denny Hamlin currently 5th with last year's pole winner Jimmy Johnson now on the track.
Thanks, Vince. This could be a good measuring stick here, guys, for what the track's going to do. Jimmy Johnson's got a good race car, but with the track heating up and the wind's picking up, we'll see what he can do here with this lap.
Looked like he had something going there coming off turn 2, but then he lost a little bit as he hit the backstretch. That's the problem. You go out there and run into the corner like you need to try to sit on the pole, and if it doesn't stick, it's just going to cost you dearly, and it looks like it's costing Jimmy through 1 and 2.
DJ, you get to the point when you go through turn 1 there and you pretty much know that either you've got something for the pole or not, and then you're just kind of protecting it the rest of the way around?
Yeah, if you don't get through that corner and your car's not acting exactly right, then you just make the most of the lap. You don't want to do anything crazy because you know that you have a practice coming up. You have a good race car. And, it's just the luck of everything, the way that things turned out today, that you didn't get out there whenever you could to make a good effort.
Let's see, we show you the little bobble that Jimmy had a moment ago in turn 2. He comes across, he's 7th right now of the 15 cars that are going out to qualify.
And normally it only takes just a little bit, and if we can see something, I can tell you that, yeah, it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
That might not look like much, but it is time that you're not in the throttle, and then you try to set up for this next corner, and your car's already loose, so it's hard to carry that speed that you need to.
You hear how much of a momentum track it is, and as soon as you break that momentum, it takes you almost a full lap to pick it back up.
That's exactly right, and then by then you've run out of even more grip with your tires.
So Jimmy will sit 7th right now. It is a Hendrick teammate, Mark Martin, on the pole. It is a Hendrick teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside of row 1. They ran a 49.43 and a 49.84. Now, how about the final Hendrick car? A 3-time pole sitter and 4-time race winner here. Jeff Gordon, let's see what Jeff can do.
Ray, did you ever have to talk to Jeff before qualifying here, or just let him go do it?
I did. I'll tell you, some of the things that we actually talked about here is to sit and picture the perfect lap, because the line was so important. And he used to buckle in here and put the window net up several cars before we got to the end and just sit there with his eyes closed, trying to visualize the lap that he had to get.
He's given everything he's got, and it looks almost similar to his teammate Jimmy Johnson at this point of the lap. It's just the grip level is really diminished out there. And it's going to be hard. I mean, they know Mark Martin, their other teammate, is out there with that fastest lap. They feel like they've got it too, but it's just so hard to go get it right now with the track the way it is.
Guys, as a crew chief, you can see Steve Letarte walking down through there. And you knew sending your driver out there, as much as things heated up, he didn't have much of a chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, just try to get a good spot. And now you're racing all the guys that are going to go after you. That's 10th quickest for Jeff Gordon.
So Jeff Gordon not getting in the top 5, and he was hoping to be able to get 5th or better. And what about the guy who has been the man to beat in pole qualifying this year, Brian Vickers? Jamie.
Yeah, he has 5 poles, and the last 3 time trials that were run, not rained out, he won it. So how you feeling about your chances today?
Feel pretty good about it. We were really happy with the car in practice. Really proud of the effort. We came here a couple times for the Goodyear tire test, and by the way, I got to stop to commend them. They did a tremendous job. They came a long way since last year. I was really proud of the effort they put behind making this tire right, and I think that we got a really good tire for tomorrow's race. Hopefully, we'll find out starting from the pole, but we'll see.
All right, Brian Vickers will continue his pursuit. Perhaps a little leg up because he was at a couple of those tests, Doc.
We'll watch and see what he can do. Here is a guy that was 2nd quickest in both sessions yesterday. We mentioned he came here as a rookie in 07, qualified 2nd, finished 2nd. Juan Pablo Montoya.
this is really going to show us, guys, exactly how much speed is in this racetrack. We know it's a fast race car. He knows how to get around here. How much has it slowed down since Mark Martin went out?
And he's got a little bit of cloud cover, DJ, but I just don't know if it's enough.
We talked yesterday about how he arcs the car in a little more at times in the corner, almost like an open-wheel IndyCar line.
Yeah, he really gets his car set well going into the corners. And as we talked about a loose race car, you need it to turn in the center. But if you're going to arc it like that, you really have to have some stability there to be able to do that. You can see he's made a pretty good lap here so far. It's the best we've seen in a long time, anybody getting off turn 2 and carrying that momentum down the back straightaway.
49.43 is Martin. 49.84 is Earnhardt Jr. That's the front row right now. Oh, losing some time right there between 3 and 4.
Yeah, you can see he can get a little bit loose off of turn 3. But the car looks pretty good overall considering the conditions that he's running under right now. I mean, this is a great lap. And he beats Dale Earnhardt Jr. by 0.5 of a second.
Guys, that's an impressive lap in my book.
Yeah, it really is.
Juan Pablo Montoya second right now, and coming up momentarily, Kyle Busch coming out to qualify here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and hustling back over to ORP later tonight.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. American League Central contenders clash in the Motor City as Jermaine Dye leads the White Sox in the final game of a big 4-game series against the Tigers. While All-Stars Curtis Granderson on the run, he makes the catch. And Brandon Inge look to carry Detroit to the division title. Home run, Brandon Inge. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. White Sox Tigers, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Get 20% more cash for your broken, unwanted, or mismatched gold jewelry. Cash for Gold, the largest volume consumer gold buyer in the USA, is on an extended buying spree. Prices are still at all-time highs, and we still can't keep up with demand. So we've raised our goal $100 million and extended our deadline. Now we're out to buy $200 million in gold by the end of summer, September 30th. Send us any unwanted, broken, or mismatched gold jewelry right now. Call for a free prepaid envelope. Fill it with the items you want to sell, send it to our secure processing center, and get ready to count your cash. And to meet our new $200 million goal, we've increased our cash payout by 20%. Cash for Gold owns its own refinery. There's no middleman, just more cash for you. And now we're paying even 20% more cash. Call before the gold rush ends September 30th.
Call 1-800-994-3464 or visit cash4gold.com.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance, but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-229-0166.
Pole qualifying continuing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 17 cars are going to have to take time, and it is Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya right now on the provisional front row. Here comes Kyle Busch in the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Let's check in with Dave.
And we'll check in with Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy, where was the time lost on your lap?
Turn 2. The car was great coming to the green. Turn 1 went well, I thought, and then just got a little too aggressive into 2 and spent from the exit of turn 2 all the way around, and then on my cool down lap cussing myself out for messing it up because the car was much better than that. Guys made some great changes, and I felt like the car could have been, I'm not sure we had anything for Mark. I'd have to look at the lap tracker to see where we're at, but it should have been up there in the top 3 or 4 as of now.
You guys talked about it before, 4 precise corners. You got to hit all of them.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dave. You have to make these. That's what makes this qualifying lap so much different and unique than the rest of these places that we go. As we see Kyle Busch exit turn 2, losing a little bit of time as he heads down the back straightaway.
And he's got about as much cloud cover as anyone's had here basically since qualifying started.
It still looked like he had that little wobble in the center, so, and I just don't know what it is. The guys can't seem to keep the rear of these cars hooked up like they want them.
Yeah, I think that the rain played into that. And I think the other thing is we have to point out, we talked about it earlier today, in case you weren't with us then, these guys haven't been on the racetrack today. This is the first time they've been back in these race cars since yesterday, trying to go out here and make a fast lap. Very difficult place to do that.
And Kyle Busch has been in a car running a half-mile racetrack over practicing in the Nationwide car.
The 10th quickest for Kyle Busch.
If he could hold on, that would be by far his best start at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Right now, it is 16th. Is the best he's ever started here back in 2005. Well, this is the Busch brothers portion of our pole qualifying show from Indianapolis, because it is older brother Kurt Busch who's going to go out to qualify. And if you just joined our coverage, he told Jamie Little a minute ago, even though he would start toward the front because he's doing so well in the points, he wanted to go out and qualify and get a chance to give Roger Penske his first stock car pole. Let's see if he can do it.
He might want to rethink that after this draw. We'll see after this lap how loose his car is.
You can see he was trying to get a little heat in the tires as he came off of turn 2, see if he could get some grip. Out there pretty far coming out of 3.
This car bouncing a lot. Wow, getting into that corner.
That's not where you wanted to be coming out of there.
Still bouncing, Ray.
Almost looks like there's something going on in the shop or something.
Yeah, there is something wrong, Kurt. We'll give you that. There's something definitely different about this car than any we've seen. It's just hopping around quite a bit on the left front and right rear.
Well, he's guaranteed a starting spot by being in the points, but now do you stay in the throttle and take a chance on damaging a race car, or do you be smart about it?
Well, you know, he doesn't have to wreck it, but he can still stand in as hard as he can and see what it'll get. It's not going to get what he wants, though, I can tell you.
He doesn't have to wreck it, but he may if he keeps that up right there.
But I don't know if it's right rear or left front. You watch it bouncing on the right rear. I mean,
it's
wow,
bouncing all over the place. I've never seen a car bounce like that. He's going to have to maybe abort this lap.
Yeah.
He's hanging on right now for all he can hang on. He's almost done.
Something bad wrong right here.
Yeah, they're going to find a mechanical issue, something that got overlooked in inspection or broken or something.
Yeah, how does that happen, guys?
Well, it looks like he may have a problem back in the rear suspension. I've had a problem like that before where you had an interference with some of the suspension links and basically kind of get the car tied down. He's got something wrong right there.
You've got that thing jacked up and down so much, you know, in between inspection and checking tires and doing stuff like that. And if you have, you know, anything from a spring coming out to these new bump stops, it only takes a little bit of a change or something to be a misfit or a mismatch, and it really gets violent because you just don't have a lot of suspension travel. Watching on the right rear here, guys. I mean, that thing, look, it lays over and it's really moving up and down on the right rear a lot.
Could the left front shock have come off?
You see that? You can see how this portion right here almost taking the left front tire off the ground. That's real time, as you see right here.
It's almost like it had no shock up there.
A lot of guys are running rear sway bars on these cars, and some of them are running gigantic rear sway bars.
That one might not have been hooked up.
That was something could have been hooked up or hooked up wrong, unhooked or unhooked up wrong.
Let's go down and visit with David Reagan. Jamie.
Well, David Reagan and I are watching what happened to the 2 car. But, David, yesterday, you and your Roush teammates, you guys weren't up there on the charts. I think 21st was the fastest. Cause for concern at all?
Well, you know, I would be concerned if it was Sunday morning before the race, but, you know, we've still got qualifying. We've still got some practice this afternoon. So, you know, I'm confident that our UPS team can get it going. We've, you know, we've typically run okay here the last couple of years, but, you know, this is such a fun place to race and to run good at. It's important for everyone, for Ford, UPS, that we get a good run. So we need a good run, and I'm just glad the sun's out and we're getting to qualify, and it'll be really good when we get to practice some this afternoon.
Well, it'd be nice to see a smile on David Reagan's face tomorrow, Doc. They certainly are in need of a good finish.
They certainly are. It would be good to see the young man have a good one in Indianapolis. Here's the 43 car on the racetrack, Reed Sorensen. He was the pole sitter here back in 2007. He led 16 laps that day and came home with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, good lap he's got going here, too, as he comes out of turn 4. I think he's got a top 5 run going.
Yeah, 4th, backing up his practice times.
Good job. This is a track that Reed gets around well, and his crew chief Mike Shiplett also has been part of some success here with Casey Kane.
That would equal his best start of the year, which was 4th at Dover, Delaware. Good run for the King Richard Petty's car. Right now, they're still chasing Mark Martin.
The Brickyard means history, miles of traditions, and unforgettable legends. It means racing back to the bricks with fans on the left and on the right. It means having something to prove, having a story to tell. It means watching the best of the best of the best. It means greatness. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to ESPN with the Brickyard 400 tomorrow at 12:30. Telecast presented by Golden Corral.
If you plan on building, furnishing, or remodeling your home, or you're just tired of paying retail, don't spend another dollar. Now, you can enjoy an incredible selection of top-quality, name-brand products priced up to 50% less than retail. Take the first step towards saving hundreds or even thousands of dollars on nearly anything for your home. Call for your free Direct Buy Insider's Guide to Buying Direct and learn what retailers don't want you to know. Each full-color page of the Insider's Guide is packed with powerful information. Discover some of the hundreds of thousands of products available from over 700 name brand manufacturers. Everything, including furniture, cabinets, appliances, flooring, lighting fixtures, and so much more, all without retail markups. At Direct Buy, you can't afford to miss this valuable opportunity. Call the number on your screen now to get your own Direct Buy Insider's Guide. You'll also receive a visitor's pass and map to the Direct Buy showroom nearest you. The sooner you call, the sooner you'll be buying direct. So call now.
Every 60 seconds, someone, somewhere, is making the switch to Tempur-Pedic. Now, it's your turn. Call now for your free information kit, including a Tempur material sample, along with a DVD and catalog. Traditional mattresses use metal springs that can cause pressure points, causing you to toss and turn. Only the Tempur-Pedic mattress automatically adjusts to your body while keeping your spine in perfect alignment. Plus, because Tempur-Pedic doesn't transfer motion, you won't disturb your partner when you get out of bed or shift positions. Best of all, Tempur-Pedic will let you sleep on one of their sleep systems for an incredible 90 nights before you make your purchase decision. If you want the ultimate in comfort, if you wish to get more sleep but can't, it's time you make the switch to Tempur-Pedic.
Call 1-800-770-8146 for your free information kit. That's 1-800-770-8146. Call today.
It is often called the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So much history and tradition here. Everyone talks about being the first to finish and kiss the yard of bricks. Well, the man who has done it 4 times is hoping to become the first driver to do it 5 times. As we go down and visit with Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon looking to make history here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but have to do it maybe a little further back than you'd hoped. What kind of car did you have, and how does that leave you thinking about the race car?
Well, we were off a little bit yesterday, and so we had to make some pretty big changes. You know, I think we made some improvements, but we're still fighting it a little bit, and you know that just wasn't our best effort, best lap. So yeah, we'll come from behind. You know, the tires are good enough to where we can maybe play around with some pit strategy, but you know, hopefully we can just get the car dialed in here in this next practice and have a car that can drive up through the field. We've done it here before. It's tougher to do these days than ever, but you know, we certainly got our work cut out for us, and we're up for the challenge.
Jeff Gordon currently 13th, Doc.
Thanks, Vince. We're watching the 16 car of Greg Biffle, who was the fastest car in the first practice session yesterday. Of course, Biffle not as good in that final session. I'd like to remind you can find the 2009 U.S. Olympus Open Series Tennis, which is just down the road here at Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Tennis Center. That can be found over on ESPN Classic and also at midnight tonight on ESPN2.
Good lap there for Greg Biffle. Yeah, he ties Martin Truex's time of 50.080.
Well, let's find out what happened with all the bouncing up and down with Kurt Busch. Dave.
Yeah, we'll check with him, Doc. First thing I want to know is how you hung on to that race car, Kurt, based on what it was doing.
Yeah, I was real unsure of what's going on, and so we'll let the team figure out what's wrong. Something with the front shocks, bump rubber combination, don't know. So we'll dissect it, figure it out.
Okay, these guys are looking it over. The crew's all under the hood right now, and Kurt hung on to that car, guys.
Well, what a job he did to hang on. Obviously, the time isn't important. The fact that he brought it back in one piece is what's critical. They had a good race car.
Thing was evil.
Well, here is the guy that is the 5-time pole winner in 2009. The last 3 times we've actually had qualifying. and it wasn't rained out. He has been on the pole. So we'll see what Brian Vickers can do. See if how close he can get to that front row of Martin and Montoya. 49.43 for Martin and a 49.77 for Montoya.
Seems some sparks fly right there, Ray.
Yeah. Again, Andy, I don't know. Extra speed, air dam a little bit low, reset. What could they be dragging that's making sparks?
Looked like it was actually in the middle of the car. Could be just about anything, but he's got a good-looking attitude, and he drove the car down into turn 1 too. We see that a lot with guys that we're comparing to Mark Martin's lap, where they drive into turn 1. You see the little bump in the speed there in the green, and then they give up a little bit. It's like Mark had enough discipline to drive into turn 1 conservatively so he could carry that speed off.
He said that Mark Martin claimed that his lap that he was too old to go any faster. That might have, but if indeed he's talking about that, might have been to his benefit. I think a lot of it works to his benefit. Vickers was pretty fast up here in the test sessions, wasn't he?
Yeah, you see, I see some sparks on that lap there too. You see the back of this car is lower than most. That's one of the things that you can do at this track. It's almost like a speedway when I say that, like a restrictor plate track. But that's a great lap, 4th quick, 49.96. But they're running real soft. Some of these guys are running softer rear springs and these big bars to try to enhance that attitude on the straightaway to try to get that extra speed.
Let's go down and visit with Kyle Busch. Vince.
Kyle Busch currently sitting 12th on the grid. How was your car? Was it what you'd hoped it would be? I know you'd like to be higher than 12th, but all things considered, how did it handle?
It wasn't bad. The car didn't drive very bad, but it just didn't quite have the speed we needed there. So unfortunately, the Snickers Camry will have to come from further back than what we'd like. But yeah, it's a part of Indy. Not being able to get an early draw just seems to hinder the rest of the guys. But for us, we should have been able to be better than that. The 42 is a spectacular car. The 5 is as well, and those guys show it. They're on each side of us here in the garage area, and they're the ones on the front row right now.
As you sit here 12th, and you've got another practice coming up later this evening, how much do you feel like you can maybe better and improve that to where you have a race car capable of winning on Sunday?
Well, it seems like yesterday we fought balance. We would be loose, we would be tight, but whenever you go either which way, we never pick up speed. It doesn't matter what we do, we just don't ever get any faster for some reason. So hopefully Steve's got some things cooked up his sleeve that we can throw at this thing later on today and see if we can't make it to what we need it.
That's Kyle Busch. We'll keep an eye on him in practice a little bit later this evening.
Thank you, Vince. Here is A.J. Allmendinger on the racetrack and the 44 car for Richard Petty Motorsports.
Ready to lose.
We'll say his car didn't look very happy there coming out of 2.
Looked a little bit loose getting in right there, too.
Yeah. So he's not able to carry speed. He's out of the throttle for a good while. This racetrack really threw these guys a curve from yesterday.
Wow, he is loose. Wow.
H.A. finished 10th here last year, but he'll have to come from pretty far back to do that tomorrow, which he can do.
That was his career first top 10, and as you said,
good job not to crash, sir.
Just getting ready to say that. He's lucky not to crash it. He's 20th right now. Good job, A.J. 50.866, brought it back in one piece. Back with more qualifying in a moment.
My kids call me the shredder, because every bill I get goes right in my
inbox, not my mailbox. I pay for everything online so I can
get these text messages. They're called spending alerts. I feel more in control. My husband feels
funky, bunky, and crunky, but I've stopped using my pets' names as passwords.
At Citi, we know everyone's talking about keeping money safe, and we've got lots of ways to help, like spending alerts. Because when your money's safe, your mind's at ease. That's why Citi never sleeps.
Roundup Extended Control does 2 jobs at once. 1, kills weeds to the root. 2, forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control.
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
We go through slumps, like everyone else. And when things start going bad like that, sometimes the best thing to do, watch the tape.
Now look right here, your shoulder, you're dipping it. Really? What concerns me is this motion here.
Yeah, but my posture's good, isn't it? Is that bad?
It's not good. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
that was a poor effort.
Eventually, the great ones always figure it out.
Things obviously are neck and neck in potential to lead changes by the day.
I'm embarrassed.
Is it time for your backyard makeover? The first step to a beautiful landscape is a visit to Mount Diablo Landscape Center for landscape materials you'll need. For a new patio, you can have concrete delivered or U-Haul. The mobile concrete mixing plant is perfect to never end up with extra concrete or run short. Mount Diablo mixes its own soil blends for gardeners in the East County. Fill soil, topsoil, and rototill mix. Great for breaking up clay. You'll always find friendly service. Mount Diablo Landscape Center on Pittsburgh-Antioch Highway.
It's that time again. Time to get fast. For a limited time, you can get up to 6 months of Comcast Business Class Internet for free when you order Business Class Voice with a 2-year agreement. It's full-featured voice with Internet thrown in for free. Call or log on today and get fast. It's the speed you need to be more productive than ever before. Comcast Business Class. It's not small business. It's fast business.
I think winning there, in 2000, I mean, we went on to win the championship that year, and I think it just propelled us to win the championship.
When I look back, I almost forget the different chapters and all the amazing things that we experienced as a team throughout the 10 months of racing. But man, it doesn't get any better than what we had in 2006.
I think winning the Brickyard and the championship in the same year is just a dream season. Obviously, to win the single biggest race that's important to you and backing that up with a championship, I mean, there's just no better feeling.
NASCAR champions remembering their wins here at Indianapolis, and Tony Stewart getting buckled in with that famous number 14 on the side, honoring his childhood hero, A.J. Foyt, who was just unbelievable at this place. Here's the 47 car, Marcus Ambrose, the Tasmanian, who has done has turned a lot of heads this year with his how well he has done his growth curve as a driver.
He has really been impressive, and I tell you what, so far this lap's pretty impressive, Ray.
He did a great job getting in the one, nice and smooth like that. He's been a pleasure to watch. Listening to him talk, how much he appreciates the sport that's going on, the fun that he was having with his crew chief earlier today. He's doing a great job for as little experience as he has in one of these cars.
I spent some time with him yesterday in the final practice. He had gotten out of his car while they were working on it, and he just had a big smile on his face down there then. He says he loves this racetrack. This is just the first time he went on it, and he loved it, and can't wait to get out here and race Sunday.
He grew up as a road racer, a two-time V8 supercar champion on the road courses in Australia. So obviously, if you're a pretty good road racer, you're good at running on flat racetracks.
Yeah, that's really a good lap. That's 7th quick right now. And the sun's been out here. This racetrack's still just heating up. So that's a really good job that he's been able to put down a nice lap here, and we'll have a pretty good starting position. Vince?
Reed Sorensen currently 5th, very close to your qualifying sim yesterday. How good was the race car in qualifying trim?
It was pretty good. We, the very last qualifying run we did, we weren't where we wanted to be, and we put it right back to where it was, and that's about how it felt. So I lost a little bit of time in turn 2, but the car was really good in turns 3 and 4 and made some time back up. So just real proud of all the Valvoline guys, and I think it's going to be good to start up front here. I don't know where that's going to end up, but it's going to be pretty good, and makes it for a lot easier day when you can start closer to the front and just kind of work on your car up there in the cleaner air.
Yep, he's done it from the front, very front here before. Reed Sorensen not quite there this time, but still a pretty solid qualifying run, Doc.
Great run for him, driving for the King Richard Petty. Here's David Reagan. You heard him talking a little bit ago. Boy, would he love to be able to get a good start here and to be able to get the UPS car back in the top 5 here at Indianapolis.
So really fast down the front straightaway there. 207 miles an hour going into turn 1.
So Jack said he don't want to hear any complaints about motor.
But he might have driven it in there just a little bit too far, carrying all of that speed.
This is, by the way, you see Jack Roush. This is one of 2 racetracks in Sprint Cup competition where Jack Roush Fenway has never won, here and Chicagoland. Roush has had finished second here 4 times, including Carl Edwards a year ago.
And again, we see the guys that just don't get off a 2 cannot maintain a good lap.
I would have to say that most of these guys we're seeing with that are just extremely loose, and once you get that feeling of being loose, you don't want to wreck the car. You just do what you can to bring it back.
And when it's out there on the line, you cannot rate or lower the track bar. You cannot put wedge in it. All you can do basically is take some tape off, which kills speed, or change tire pressure. That's about all you've got to work with, right, Andy?
Yeah, that's it. And you know, you have what you have. And the bad thing about that is you didn't know that we were going to have this kind of condition when we qualified. Everybody put their car through tech thinking we were going to qualify at 10 o'clock.
Andy, I thought the track was going to stay cool and overcast most of the day, but guess what?
Yeah, here we go. Now it's gained another 4 degrees. Up to 115. That's just making it more and more difficult for the competition. And Mark Martin's smile's getting bigger and bigger sitting in that trailer watching this.
Yeah, you'd have to think that it was at the most 100, 101 when Mark went out. So you're talking about 15 degrees of track temperature, which is huge on this. This surface probably is track or temperature sensitive as much as anywhere that we go.
Got to remind you, those of you looking for 2009 Olympus U.S. Open Tennis, that can be found over on ESPN Classic and also at midnight tonight on ESPN2. That's just down the street from where we are at the Indianapolis Tennis Center. We are proceeding with our live coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying, pole qualifying for the 16th running of the Brickyard 400. And here is a former Brickyard winner back in 2000 on his way to the Cup Championship that year, Bobby Labonte.
Yep, 7 times that's happened. Bobby was one of those that won this Brickyard 400 and went on to win the championship in the same year. Says a lot about the teams that come here and are ready to prepare for the Brickyard 400, I think, Ray.
It does, DJ, and I've heard you say it several times. The teams that shine, your best teams shine here because this is that textbook racetrack. You've got to have good motors, you've got to have good pit stops, you've got to have good body, good strategy, good drivers. So, you know, the teams that shine here normally are the teams that will be up front are the best teams.
That's almost exactly what Jeff Gordon said yesterday in the quote. He said, you know, you can have racetracks where you need good engines and guys where you need good drivers, but at Indianapolis, it's all about the total team.
Turn 2 extremely bad.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people
he should have been watching the show. We would have told him that.
Still brought it in 22nd overall. Let's go down and visit with Marcus Ambrose, who is 7th, Vince.
That's right. A good qualifying effort for Marcus. Now, before he went out, he kept telling the crew, make sure it's tight enough, make sure it's tight enough, make sure it's tight enough. So how was it?
Yeah, I was crying like a baby out there. I could feel the heat, you know, before I jumped in the car, and I was just so worried about, you know, losing time by getting loose that I was crying like a baby, basically. I just wanted them to tighten it up for me, and they did just that, and it was too tight. And I couldn't get off turns 2 and turns 4, but just a strong day for us in qualifying trim there. I feel like we've got a great race car and really looking forward to getting out there.
This race last year was your first Cup Oval race. How have you progressed as a driver in what area the most in a year's time?
About half a second by qualifying times. Last year I did a 50-50. This year I did a 50 flat. So we're getting better as a crew, and it's our anniversary, our first birthday together. And I just got a lot of thank my team, JTG Doherty and Frankie Kerr, crew chief, and Michael Waltrip Racing for giving us great stuff. It's just such a weight off our shoulders to be able to be in points safe. Now we've got to start the race and just really look forward to doing well and trying to get the most out of myself and the car.
Well, I think there are a lot of questions about Marcus Ambrose when he first came over from Australia to run stock cars. And guys, I think he's answered those questions and then some. A terrific talent.
No doubt about that, Vince. He is becoming a favorite. And look at this car, number 9 of Casey Kane. Talk about how important.
Yeah, that hurt him right there.
Wow.
Oh, man, he had such a good turn 1 and all the way down to turn 2.
That thing was hung out coming out of turn 1, but he stayed in the throttle. But then he just could never get the car turned down in turn 2.
It'll take its toll on those tires, though, when you're sliding like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Casey does a great job qualifying here. I mean, he's got 4 times in the top 5, but he just can't seem to get the good money draw. And he's been driving that darn sprint car lately this week, so I think that's why he's sliding that thing a little bit there sideways.
He's still going to be okay as far as his starting position, but that took away maybe a front row starting spot.
Oh, yeah, great lap. 0.03.
Another top 5 possibly for Casey Kane here at Indianapolis in terms of starting spots, and 200th career NASCAR Sprint Cup start.
Not good. Sorry about that. I just kind of messed up.
Why don't we check in with Carl Edwards? Jamie.
Well, yesterday in second practice, Carl Edwards, I was looking on the board and I'm like, where's 99? You were down in 38th, Carl. What was going on, and are you concerned at all right now for qualifying?
Yes, I am concerned. We made our qualifying runs in the first practice, and then the second practice we worked on race trim with our Aflac Fusion. There at the end we made a qualifying run and we were not very fast. So, you know, Greg Biffle made a fairly decent lap there. I got to talk to Greg Irwin a little bit, so I think I know what to expect. And hopefully Bob, put the magic in this thing, and it's. I hope it's a really fast Ford. It's pretty good in race trim, so I'm excited about that. But I just don't know what to expect here.
Now, your teammate Greg Biffle, you mentioned him. He said there was a lot of grip in the track. What does that make you expect?
That means I'm going to go ahead and drive it in real hard, and I hope Greg's right. It depends on how your car's set up. Sometimes they can feel that way, and sometimes if it's a little loose, it feels terrible. So I'll make sure to run real hard through 3 and 4, but you get one crack at it, and that's all you get. So hopefully it's a good one.
All right, and that one crack right now is Tony Stewart. Not intentionally, Doc, but he's on the track.
Okay, Jamie. Here is he was a pole sitter here back in 2002, and he's won twice in the last 3 years, 05 and 07. So it's every odd year it seems like Tony Stewart goes to victory lane.
And it's 09, Doc. Could be his year.
Could he be the odd man in?
Could be. Got a good lap going on. Should be 6th, 7th quick. Maybe. Might be headed for a top 5 with this.
Got a lot of 50 flats. 50-0 for Casey Kane and 03, and all the way down to 11th spot. Denny Hamlin 50-08. See what kind of time Tony runs at 50-01, so he tops the 50.0 crowd.
Tony Stewart now starting in the top 5 possibly, as we have now 28 cars that have gone out to qualify of the 46 that are lined up to take time. Here's Sliced Bread, the nickname for Joey Logano because he's the next best thing since Sliced Bread, and obviously he has been that much of his career. At Loudon, New Hampshire, became the youngest winner in NASCAR Sprint Cup history at 19 years, 1 month, and 4 days.
If I was Zippy, I think I would have thrown that lobster in the car with him when he was out before in the pit studio. It sounded like he was pretty scared of that thing. I would have thrown that in there.
If you just joined our coverage, we had Joey Logano on our set this morning, and we talked to him about how intimidating it is or how much pressure there is to get in that 20 car and fill those shoes of one Tony Stewart who won twice with that car here.
That's big shoes to fill. We talked to him earlier. He was talking about everything and just getting acclimated to, whoa, got it in the wall right there.
If I can put a little black mark on the wall there.
Yeah. His first 10 races of this year, and probably expected, his average finish was 26, but his last 10 has been an average finish of 14. And I just think that shows some maturity in getting used to these cars and being able to relate, but he's awful loose right now.
He drove her down in there.
He just about caught that wall again. He's just scraped it.
That's
once.
not where you want to be either. Just not able to carry the speed. You're going to see it hurt him all the way down the backstretch here.
That might have been a classic young guy being really brave. Might have overdrove one or two there a little bit. What do you think?
He was 18th quickest in the final practice session. Let's see if he can pick up at all, but obviously he is really trying to hustle this car here on his one lap.
Just such a big race. You want to start up front. All this pressure. It's just, this is a finesse type track. You got to have some discipline, especially on those corner entries, to make that fast lap. But it's hard to control that when you have such a big race that you're trying to qualify for.
Yeah, you have all that momentum, everything just telling you to go out there and go as fast as you can. You're at a big place, big track. You want to give it all that you've got. And this is a young man giving it all he's got here to coming to get the green.
Yeah, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's trying to carry that speed, like we talked about earlier, to carry that momentum to get the green flag. Just a little bit too much. You see here he was carrying some speed off of turn 1 going to turn 2. At least he had a little room to work right there. Didn't hit it again.
But that's a couple tenths of a second that we're seeing right there, guys. So he probably would have run, a 50 flat or right around there.
We invite you to join us for live flag-to-flag coverage of the 16th running of the Brickyard 400, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Right now, it is Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya on the front row.
Some nights, you catch great cards, mix up your play, and completely control the action. And it's still not enough. But there's always another hand. We play at fulltiltpoker.net.
You call this a challenge?
But can you take it when the people tell you that you're going down, 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 always down? You know you live your life, you pick it up, you put it back.
kind of odds.
Adam Richmond travels the country and takes on the biggest, baddest, and boldest foods one delicious bite at a time. Man vs. Food premieres Wednesday, August 5th at 10, only on the Travel Channel.
Get 20% more cash for your broken, unwanted, or mismatched gold jewelry. Cash for Gold, the largest volume consumer gold buyer in the USA, is on an extended buying spree. Prices are still at all-time highs, and we still can't keep up with demand. So we've raised our goal $100 million and extended our deadline. Now we're out to buy $200 million in gold by the end of summer, September 30th. Send us any unwanted, broken, or mismatched gold jewelry right now. Call for a free prepaid envelope. Fill it with the items you want to sell, send it to our secure processing center, and get ready to count your cash. And to meet our new $200 million goal, we've increased our cash payout by 20%. Cash for Gold owns its own refinery. There's no middleman, just more cash for you. And now we're paying even 20% more cash. Call before the gold rush ends September 30th.
Call 1-800-994-3464 or visit cash4gold.com.
Who's baseball's MVP right now? VidPro 45, what do you think?
Well, I've taught millions of people how to harness the power of their computers. Try my product.
Not everyone can talk sports. Can you? Join the debate on the all-new Sports Nation on ESPN2.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Qualifying continuing here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 400 in Speedway, Indiana, just outside of the edge of Indianapolis, the town of Indianapolis. And let's go down and visit with Casey Kane, who right now is 6th on the charts.
Yeah, a lot of guys would be happy with 6th, but Casey shaking his head a little bit. Where did you leave it out there?
Well, I felt like the track was a little slicker than yesterday, and our car was sliding around, and I just kind of drove too hard. I tried too hard to get a good lap, and I think if I would have slowed down a touch, I probably would have went a couple tenths quicker. So still decent. You know, we have a good practice here this afternoon. That's what it's all about, you know, getting ready for tomorrow. So if we can do that, hopefully we'll have a good show in the Allstate 400 tomorrow.
Yeah, Casey Kane building momentum, 2 top 5s in the last 4 races. He should be a contender tomorrow. Doc?
All about momentum coming in here. And here's the 7 car of Robbie Gordon, who has a lot of experience at this racetrack. In fact, he has been running it all in the finish of all 9 Brickyard 400s he has entered.
See, he's another one of the drivers that just didn't get off the exit of turn 2. Ran out of grip, and that hurt his back straightaway. It's a place that Robbie's had a lot of success in the Indy 500, even though he's never won it. Seemed to run up front a lot, and he'd be looking to get a little more speed out of his car. That was 26th quickest for him.
Robbie started on the front row at Indy here twice in 2001 and 2003 in the Indy 500. His best start in the Brickyard 400 is 4th back in 02.
Nobody's run a second lap so far, but you might see the first one right here. Robbie Gordon going for a second lap. Obviously not happy with the first. He's going to be less happy with this one, I think. Although he is tracking just a little bit faster than his first lap. Right here is where he's losing it again off turn 4.
Lap is not very good. Too tight.
And most of the time, even these guys they're figuring on 1 lap, so they put so much tape on this to maximize their speed that take a chance of running the engine a little bit warm.
Yeah, I was looking for that. I didn't see any steam coming out of the car, so they must have actually at least left enough opening to try the second lap.
Let's talk to Joey Logano, Vince.
Yeah, Joey Logano, and we'll assess that 18th that popped up.
Yeah, I was tied off the corner, and it snapped right before I get to the fence, and just trying to get a bunch of speed up to scrape the fence a little bit. I wasn't a big deal, but I feel like we gave up a lot of speed off of 2. I just got tight, shoving all over the racetrack, never got back down to the bottom, and I know we'll just have to work on it.
Yeah, your first time here, what's your impression of it?
Oh, it's a cool racetrack. It's fun. I just got to figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, he'll be the youngest starter ever in the Brickyard, Doc.
At 19 years of age, amazing. That he's at Indianapolis, already won in Cup, but all he's accomplished at this young age. What a bright future he has. 30 cars have gone out to qualify of the 46, and it is Mark Martin, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Is that Kyle going back over to ORP?
Going to go back and try to defend his points lead. He is the points leader in the NASCAR Nationwide Series by 212 over Carl Edwards. Here's the 19 car of Elliott Sadler. And boy, what a good run Elliott Sadler had in this race a year ago.
Yeah, really, Elliott really likes this racetrack. It seems to suit his driving style. He's a little wide there out of turn 2. That's going to really hurt his time. You can see he had to get completely out of the throttle.
This is the first time that Elliott's been able to run the new Dodge engine, the R6 P8 engine that they've actually been using in Casey Kane's car since Dover in May. And now they're able to finally get enough to put one in the 19 car for Elliott to give him a little more oomph here on these long straightaways.
He looked like he's one of those drivers that just could not turn the steering wheel as he got to turn 2 and get himself down. He ended up way up the racetrack.
This track can be the slowest car of all the cars that have gone so far, and he's 31st out of 31. That's a 52.33. That's way off the pace. He may try another one too. Well, he shuts it off. I guess it's
absolute idea what we're doing.
Yeah, that was a pretty miserable lap.
Okay, 10-4.
So he'll have to come from the back of the pack. Here's the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, who won from the pole here in 2003. A lot of speculation. Nothing out of this Kevin Harvick or out of Richard Childress Racing, but a lot of speculation about him maybe going somewhere next year.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about that. If you heard Richard Childress earlier, didn't see much doubt about it.
Yeah, I heard him talk about it too. He said no. He said, Kevin, stay in there at RCR, and they're going to get things turned around. And if you look at what's happened so far this weekend, this 29 teams, it has turned around some. See how this lap turns out. But he was way up the charts yesterday in the top 5 in practice.
He was 4th quickest in that final practice session, and this is the new generation car that RCR has been working on. They've been working around the clock on.
Yeah, they have that, and a lot of good things happening. And Richard Childress was very adamant that Kevin Harvick and Shell would be back there in 2010. So the best thing they can do is work hard and try to improve. Former winner here.
But as something like that happens, when those rumors start and they're going to be discussing those things, does that not take the focus away and make things worse than they are sometimes?
Sometimes, but sometimes it is just that. It's easy for somebody to get a hold of somebody saying something like that and just take it and run. There really not be anything to it.
We heard some people saying that Elliott Sadler's car did not smell right when it went around the racetrack, like leaking some grease or something like that, which would explain his lap. But if that's the case, it could put some stuff on the track for the rest of the guys. And here's Kevin Harvick. He's tracking 14th, which is not bad, but it's nowhere near like he was yesterday in practice.
But yesterday when they ran all of these laps of practice, they were all out there at the same time under the same conditions. And certainly, as we've documented, conditions aren't nearly the same as what it was when this qualifying session started.
17th for Harvick in the 29 car, 50.272. So he will possibly have a top 20 starting spot. 99 car, last year's runner-up here at Indianapolis, Carl Edwards, getting set to go out for his qualifying laps, and then he'll be hustling, as has Kyle Busch, already gone over to O'Reilly Raceway Park for the NASCAR Nationwide race tonight.
It's like Carl Edwards' next car to go. They're holding him. Maybe going to check the racetrack. There's a rag that flew out of the car of Elliott Sadler on his qualifying lap. They're just going to pick it up off the track.
Carl Edwards sitting in the car has yet to win. He's one of 7 drivers this year that have not been able to go to victory lane after winning the most races in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series a year ago.
That's very surprising, isn't it?
Very surprising. Just shows you how you have to stay on top of this, Ray. You have success. You can't just sit on that and think that you've got this car figured out, because there's other people working hard.
No, and we've seen that over and over again, where you're sure, you look at how they ended the year, not only in Cup, but in Nationwide, with the momentum and the wins. And there's no way in the world, when we started the season at Daytona saying he wouldn't have won by now. I mean, I think we all had him picked to win 5 or 6 races by this point. So it's just incredibly competitive out there.
And there's a driver sitting here. You don't want anything on the racetrack, but you know that every second that you sit there, it's just heating up more and more out on the racetrack. So not a good time to be sitting there as a driver, especially in a qualifying session like this, a big race to where you really want to get out there and go.
And as a crew chief, Andy, I'm watching those clouds saying, if there's a cloud coming, I'm telling them to keep looking on the racetrack. And
it looks like it's coming. Just stall a little bit.
Yeah, just stall. Or if it's here, I'm telling them it's clean, let them go.
It's good y'all are that optimistic as the crew chiefs.
You saw earlier when they went out to qualify how the front stretch had shade completely across it. Now there is sun all over the front straightaway there. No shade whatsoever, and that just lets the heat just bake that asphalt.
Yeah, when I'd say something like that, I can remember Todd Parrott coming in there. If I'd have my shield up and I'd have a dark shield, he'd flip my shield down just to give me the idea that maybe things were, clouds were coming over. Dave, what you got?
Well, I've got more than I expected down here. Of course, Tony Stewart, the driver of this race car, but also, I understand, the owner, Margaret Haas, Gene's mom. Let me go to Margaret first here. Gene, what'd you think of his qualifying lap?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. Everything he does is wonderful. He's a great driver and a great everything. I love it.
And now you set her up here with a sponsor plug, right, with the Coke can?
Yeah, we got to take care of Coca-Cola, and we're proud of them. They've been with us for 11 years now, so very proud of our association with Coke.
All right, now your lap out there, Tony. What did you learn about your race car during that qualifying run?
It was pretty balanced. I was a little bit loose into two, which has kind of been a common theme, it seems like, during qualifying today. But you still got to go in there like you know it's going to stick. So we went in there and I thought we had a really good lap. I mean, I was really happy with it. We picked up 3/10 from practice yesterday, so going to be excited if we can stay in the top 5 like this.
All right, thanks, Tony. Margaret, nice to meet you. Nice to have you in the sport.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you very much.
And drink Coca-Cola. That's right.
Margaret does a great job with the sponsors, doesn't she? There, loves her driver as well. She should. Tony Stewart right now is 5th overall in qualifying. A couple more cars to go of those that are guaranteed starting spots. Here is Carl Edwards to see what he can do in the Roush Fenway Ford.
Still looked a little high right there too. You can see that did hurt him. Just never got his car down to the inside of the racetrack.
And that just, you just can't turn left when you're that loose to get down there, can you?
And I know people out there saying, why didn't you turn it down there? Well, you could, but then you're going to be bringing out the backup car, unless you make a great save.
Now this is a terrible lap right here. There's only 32 cars have gone. He's tracking just to beat one car. That would be Elliott Sadler, who really struggled. And he only runs a 51.37. I'm not so sure there's not something on the racetrack after Elliott's run, because nobody's really run fast since.
Well, could it have been even before Elliott went? Could something have been there even before his? Because I know that he had some high hope.
Yeah, whoever was in front of Elliott.
Yeah.
Carl Edwards' lap complete in 32nd right now. Very disappointing for him in his Ford. There's rumors here that if you walk around the outside of this racetrack or in the streams, you can find some special mementos. Remember, they used 3.2 million bricks to pave the racetrack, and Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch looking for some souvenirs.
They carted them off and put them in piles down the woods and the creek. Some of them are actually placed in the lake that runs through the track. Took our shoes off and searched around and I found an intact brick. One of the guys said, oh, I'll take it back to the shop and we'll clean them all up. And I never got my brick. We went walking through there and we found some bricks. And some were actually in really good shape. I still want one of those bricks, and I looked around a little bit last time I was there, and they're hard to find. We took them home, we cleaned them up, and I've got one of them. I gave it to my dad, so it's pretty cool.
I'm not Beth.
Calling all captains!
Drink responsibly.
Patrick? What's up, Ryan?
Oops. Get dunked on by Patrick Chewing.
The Edge Pizza from Pizza Hut is back. It's toppings on top of toppings with no outer crust to fence them in. Go to the Edge with either the works, meaty, or pepperoni for just $9.99 for a medium. Now you're eating America's favorite pizza, Pizza Hut.
Remember when I got my nationwide insurance policy?
Sure do. You were only 16.
The Earnhardt family has had nationwide insurance for more than 30 years because they give me an on-your-side review. That gets me the coverage that I need at the right price for me. Now that's on your side. Call 1-866-500-5555.
Or your local agent.
And get a quote today.
The Craftsman cordless C3 line. 25 tools, 1 battery. Bring on the to-do list. Innovation, better value. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
I never thought I would have a heart attack, but I did. You need to talk to your doctor about aspirin. You need to be your own advocate.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
You take care of your kids. Now it's time to take care of yourself.
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
With ESPN Fantasy Football, free live scoring can be yours. Real-time updates on all your teams right at your fingertips. All for fans, all for free. Play today at ESPN.com/fantasy.
Qualifying continuing. Here's a 00 car, David Rudeman, and he is the last car that has to go over to do double duty. He's going to hop out of this car and head to ORP for the nationwide race tonight, and he's going to try to beat a 49.43 or a 49.77. That's Mark Martin or Juan Pablo Montoya. Those two right now in the front row.
Not a bad lap, carrying a little bit more speed off there than some of the other guys that we've seen here run this late in the afternoon.
You know something, and think back to something his teammate, so to speak, Marcus Ambrose said, was his car was too tight, and I think that's a good thing to have right now.
Tight. Damn it, it's tight.
Yeah, but hey, don't complain too much. That's going to be a great lap right there. Fourth quick in the 49-second bracket, 49.94. So much for the track having something on it. I think the track's fine.
Yeah. It's just a matter of these guys, other guys have got their cars too free. And these guys have had their cars a little bit on the tight side. This has worked well for them with this track continuing to heat up. Wow.
Still climbing.
Wow.
But that right there was a good, just hearing him scream how tight that car was and to see how fast it was.
Yeah.
If I was listening to that in the truck, I'd be tightening my car up a lot.
We invite you to join us for live coverage here at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. It is the 16th running of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral. Our coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown. Of course, a lot of special features in Countdown. A.J. Foyt and Tony Stewart on the yard of bricks, and you don't want to miss that, folks, and some very compelling stories. Maybe a little visit with Jeff Gordon away from the racetrack and talked about how family life is helping him on the track. Paul Menard is the last car in the top 35 in owners' points and is actually guaranteed a starting spot. Then we'll begin qualifying the drivers who have to get in on time and speed. We call them the go or go homers. Let's see what Paul can do.
And that Menard's name, great name around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sponsored cars here for year, helped many open wheel guys get going and run, including Tony Stewart.
Indeed. In fact, his dad, John Menard, had 3 Indy 500 pole seats. Scott Braden twice and Greg Ray in 2000.
See his car really loose too, coming out of both turns 1 and 2. So 204 miles per hour at the end of the back straightaway.
See Larry Carter, he's standing out there on the front straightaway. I would stand out there with my stopwatch and I would sit there and study it till I saw that car pop off turn 4, and I'd look to see if it was a good lap. I could tell by just glancing down my watch as it came off turn 4 whether it was going to be good or not.
And every once in a while I'd see you throw that thing down. I guess that's when you knew it was
I went through a few stopwatches.
Paul Menard, 26th overall, the 98 car, 50.728 seconds. And he will take just the 1 lap. He will shut her down.
What, qualifying is going to be interesting for these guys that have to qualify on time and drive their way in. Got a slick racetrack.
Yeah, up until now it's been, well, so much for that. We're just going to have to start in the back.
Yeah.
Now these guys have got a lot more at stake.
Mike Mike Skinner, next car to go out. He'll be the first of the guys that have to try to qualify on time and speed to get in. He finished second in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Race to Ron Hornaday last night over to Riley Raceway Park. He is a former Rookie of the Year in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition. Let's go down and visit with Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards out of the car, conferring with the team a little bit, 33rd. I know that can't make you happy. What was the race car like?
No, that's bad. We just have to work harder on our qualifying stuff. The race car there was just couldn't get it into the corner. So when the entry of the corner is feels like you're going to wreck, it's really hard to get a lap. And I missed the line into 2 because I turned in and I felt the rear end come around just a little, and I chased it up and I could never get back down to the bottom. But we'll work hard on it race trim. Luckily, we have some more practice, and we were actually faster than that, I think, in race trim yesterday. So, we've just got work to do on our qualifying, and this is about the worst we've ever been. But maybe it's what we need right now to remind us that that's important too.
Carl Edwards certainly disappointed with that qualifying effort, but Doc, he, like many other drivers that we've talked to today, really happy that they do get a 90-minute practice session before the end of the day today in race trim.
And Vince, very interesting that he will not be among those that's hustling back to ORP, although he will race there tonight. He understands he's got plenty of work to do on this Cup car yet here at Indianapolis.
Well, it looks like Skinner got just a little close to that wall, too, if not touching it there.
I was going to say, he's one that can hustle a loose car around, but this is a tough place to do that.
His best start here was 6th in 1997 and 1999.
See, he might opt for a second lap. Some of these guys might have to do that, and they don't get the lap they're looking for. They're going to have to try to give it everything they can to try to make this show.
They're racing, actually, probably for most of these people are racing for the biggest paycheck of the year.
Yeah.
If they get in this race, it pays more than any other track we go to.
$142,000 to start this race here on Sunday.
Yeah, but basically, we have 7 guys or 10 guys racing for 7 spots. Terry Labonte is going to be the 11th one there, but he has a guaranteed spot in this race because of being the most recent past champion.
See, Mike is giving it a second lap. Didn't pay off, though.
Lost 1.3 seconds on that second lap, so even though he was trying to hustle a car, and although he might have had a bit of bobble on lap 1, it was still quicker.
Yeah, this track is just so big that you've got so much temperature in that tire and so much temperature in the motor. It's almost impossible to make the car go faster on the second lap.
Yeah. You'd have to just have almost spun out in the first lap to really pick up, I would think.
What about Mad Max Pappas coming here for the first time in a stock car, Jamie?
He's going to be the last qualifier. Of course, he's been here twice for the Indy 500. But, Max, what was it like today? When the rain is coming down, we didn't know if it was going to be rained out and you'd have to go home. What was that like?
Let me tell you, it's a roller coaster. Being out of the top 35 is definitely, something that is learning. It's teaching me how to manage my emotions, trying to balance it all out. And the things that was the most happy that my wife Tatiana and Marco, they made a surprise. I was expecting them tomorrow, and they opened the door of the trailer, and here they were. Really proud. So I think that we have stand a good chance with the Geico Toyota car. I'm going to go out there and drive as hard as I can, and I know I have a lot of people out there that support me. So thank you guys. Strength. I appreciate everything you do for me. Thank you.
One of the nicest guys in the sport. Doc will watch and see if he makes it in the field.
His father-in-law is the great Emerson Fittipaldi, Tatiana's dad. Here's a 09 car of Sterling Marlin, the 2-time Daytona 500 winner, driving for James Finch.
Sterling's got a little cloud cover. Needs to make the most of it right here.
There's a lot of clouds around, and if it could stay that way for a while, then somebody like Max Pappas, who is at the end, could benefit from that. I think it'll take a little bit of time to cool this racetrack down any at all. That would make a difference to where you could feel more grip and run faster.
We'll see. His car looked balanced. Didn't seem like it was doing anything crazy, so we'll just see if it had overall grip or enough overall speed.
Not going to be happy with the speed.
He's not as quick as Mike Skinner. He's about 0.08 of a second slower. These guys basically have to know they have to beat 3 other cars to get themselves in.
So he is 34th, and the next car to go out, well, he was a guy we were talking about a lot yesterday. We talked, by the way, we talked about Tatiana Pampas, who is the daughter of Emerson Fittipaldi, and there is Marco. And by the way, Marco's godfather is Alex Zanardi. So they've kept it in the family in terms of great race car drivers in that family.
Yeah, and Alex started with the donuts, so the kid will know how to do donuts when he wins. Now here's a guy that I'm still cheering for. It's a guy that gave me my first win, only win as an owner in the Brickyard, and he had a great practice yesterday. And I'd look for Bill to be fast.
It's hard not to pull for Bill Elliott, running an abbreviated schedule this year with the Wood brothers.
Spending a lot of time racing with his son Chase, who is extremely quick too. I think he beats Bill every time they race.
Yeah, I talked to Bill this morning. Gave him a ride on the golf cart into the garage area, and he told me his son, 13 years old, went to one of the tracks down in Georgia, ran one of the Camping World trucks for a few laps. Said the kid outran him 3/10 of a lap, and said he was trying hard and couldn't beat him.
Awesome Bill Elliott, 53 years of age. 16-time most popular driver. That just floors me about how popular Bill Elliott has always been with the fans here in this sport.
Check out this lap, guys. Yeah, man, he did a great job in turn 2.
That momentum
set that car. Yeah, that's right. He's really good to throttle, isn't he, Ray?
Really good, smooth. He lets that thing roll. He doesn't abuse it. You know, he knows what he needs. This is going to probably be a top 8 to 10 lap, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, it's tracking right now fourth
right now.
He qualified 8th at Chicagoland last time out in this car. Let's see what he can do here. Is he in the top 5? Yes, he is.
Wow. Awesome job. Great job, Bill Elliott.
Awesome job, awesome Bill.
Yeah, and the Wood brothers, Eddie and Lynn Wood, Leonard Wood, all of it.
And David Hyder.
Yeah, David Hyder, man.
David Hyder's a crew chief on this car, and he does an amazing job with these guys.
Yeah.
Bill Elliott's already given us some great memories. Look at the fans enjoying that for Awesome Bill, on their feet applauding Bill Elliott's efforts here in qualifying. But let's go back to when he was impressive in 2002. Bill Elliott started on the outside front row that day. He led 93 laps, and yes, he and car owner Ray Evernham kissing the bricks as winners here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So what do you think, Josh?
I like it, P.
I'll take it.
Get some bling with Master Peanut.
It was the perfect break-in. But someone worse was already inside. Now the family he came to rob is the family he has to save. Critics are calling The Collector the must-see horror film of the summer. A new horror icon is born. The Collector. Rated R. Starts Friday.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Motor Oil actively cleans out up to 15% of sludge the first time you use it. So feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. American League Central contenders clash in the Motor City as Jermaine Dye leads the White Sox in the final game of a big 4-game series against the Tigers. While All-Stars Curtis Granderson on the run, he makes the catch, and Brandon Inge look to carry Detroit to the division title. Home run, Brandon Inge. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. White Sox Tigers, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
To become a champion is not just a symbol of power. It's a moment of glory. Triumph.
The boyhood dream has come true.
Respect.
Johnny is the champion.
Now, on a night where every championship will be defended, whose moment has come?
Order WWE with your remote on channel 801 or call 1-800-COMCAST.
Oh, dude, you have a hammer in your head.
We need to get you to the hospital, dude.
Dude, it's Thursday.
Big Block Thursday. On Speed. 3 big hours of races, chases, and crashes. Experience the drag racing phenomenon. Pink's All Out at 8. Then hunt down stolen cars on Jacked at 9. And live life in the crash lane with Wrecked at 10. Got plans Thursday night? You do now. Big Block Thursday, next Thursday at 8 Eastern, only on Speed.
Oh, no. Oh.
Rains have moved away at Indianapolis, and now the sun is shining, and fans have moved back in to watch their favorite NASCAR stock car drivers qualify. Let's go down and visit with one, Dave.
And that is David Ruderman, who, after Awesome Bill bumped him down a notch, is down to 5th, but still a pretty good lap. How's your race car?
Well, I mean, the guys did a great job getting us a lot of speed out of the car. We didn't have anywhere near, the car didn't drive near as good and didn't have the speed yesterday that we needed. And as usual, Rodney Childers and the guys went to work on the Air3 machine and brought us a great car again. And Toyota and Toyota Racing Developments, these places got some mammoth straightaways, so we had some good horsepower. But all in all, it's a pretty good lap, and I think it was a bit of a surprise. We weren't really sure how good we were going to be.
All right, and David Ruderman will stay here for Cup practice, I am told, and then at some point scoot over for the nationwide race, guys.
David Gilliland, the next car to go out to qualify, and here is a team that's done more with less than anybody I've seen this year. They minimal sponsorship, and David has been able to get this car qualified week in and week out here in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition.
Well, they better get pedaling. This is not the lap. I think it's going to be an iffy lap right here. He does outrun 2 of the cars he needs to outrun. Yeah.
33rd right now for Gilliland at a 51.087 seconds. There's Slugger Labby, the crew chief.
Yeah, they're looking at this lap time and trying to decide whether to try to run another lap.
I think we'll be okay.
They just now decided that lap was good enough. They're going to just cut it off. They feel confident they're going to be able to beat one more car.
Well, aside from Bill Elliott, the other 3 drivers that have been out here, though, those times are really close, from a 51.08 to a 51.21.
While we were away a moment ago, Bill Elliott came coasting down pit road, folks, and as he was slowing down, it was like a harangue of people standing up on the paddock stands. It was great to see. They stood up and gave Bill Elliott a standing ovation as he rolled by to turn to go into the garage area.
Yeah, and certainly well deserved.
Watch here, you see the fans.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that I've always seen here, how appreciative the fans have always been of drivers and the efforts that you make to go out there, and whether it's qualifying, even in practice sometimes you come in and they're hollering, standing and cheering.
You see Bill there talking. He is one of the greatest guys to work with as far as detail of what cars do. And I just think he is so comfortable in his environment out there. He'll come in and tell you about soft spots in the manifold, and the right rear did this and it felt this. I mean, he's just incredible. One of the best test drivers I've ever worked with.
Jamie?
And Bill Elliott, okay, I have to tell you guys, I tried to get a word with him before he got in the car, and he said, I am so nervous. Can you talk to me after? What do you feel like now?
I'll tell you what, these guys, they're doing such a good job, and we have worked so hard to get this thing where it needs to be, and I'm so proud of them. And now we're communicating. You know, we're getting in. You know, I'm giving them input. You know, they're giving me something to work with, and we're able to mesh that together. And I'm telling you what, I don't care what anybody says. That's more important to this sport than anything else, is being able to have that relationship. You know, David Hyder and I came in here a year ago and missed a race, our first time working together, and it wasn't fair to him. And to come back and do what we did today, I'm so proud of these guys.
You just drove your car through Gasoline Alley. Talk about relationship. The fans were all standing up applauding you. Could you hear them?
Well, I did, and I'll tell you what, the fans have stuck with me through thick and thin, and I'll tell you what, that means a lot. I mean, just like what Ford Motorcraft has done for my career, and as much as they've stuck with me through all these deals. And, you know, that's it. I'll tell you what, though, we all get beat down, and you come back and you work hard. I mean, just like what Mark's done. I mean, Mark found himself in the right place and is running well, and I'm so proud of what he's done. You know, and these guys, you know, they're good or they wouldn't be here, and I think that's what keeps us coming back. I mean, we know we can do it given the right circumstances. I mean, you get off in another direction, and it's so hard to make it all work, but I'm proud of them.
Congratulations. Bill Elliott solidly in the field, Doc.
He talks about Mark. He's referring to Mark Martin. And, folks, right now we have a 50-year-old pole sitter, Mark Martin, and a 53-year-old driver qualified fourth, Bill Elliott. So much for the youth movement. The good old boys are getting it done.
Yeah.
You thinking about coming back, DJ?
You and Andy be my crew chief or co-crew chiefs? Then I'll consider it. Yeah.
Oh, you stay put. You're not going anywhere. Here's the 75 car of Derek Cope, 52.704, and right now he would be the 40th, the slowest car of those that have gone out to qualify.
But that does lock in David Gilliland with that lap that he made, a 51.087.
Here is the reigning Rookie of the Year from 2008, Regan Smith, going out to make his run. And had the qualifying not gotten in today, this car would not have been one of the cars that would have gone home. He would have not have been in the field, so I know he is thrilled even to get a chance to go on the racetrack.
Young man with a lot of talent. Thought he was going to win his first race at Talladega.
This team does a great job in competing in this series. They travel cross country basically every week. They have a shop out in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. It's not where you would think the hub of stock car racing is.
No, and he has an uncanny ability to finish races. He gets in these races, he's going to be around at the end.
Still had to feel so bad for him at Talladega when they bumped him to the back of the lead lap cars after going below the yellow line there to win. It looked like he had won a race.
Yeah. You can see he's tracking here, though, to drive himself into this race.
Right now we're tracking Mike Skinner's lap. That's the lap that these guys need to beat if they want to lock in on this lap without having to sit through some other cars.
Got to be to 51.138.
There you go. That run off of turn 4 might have just done it for him. He's
yeah.
still green.
Looks good.
And he will do it. 51.073 for Regan Smith. Right now puts him 38th, and with the exception of Bill Elliott, he is the second quickest of the cars to have to get in on time and speed.
How about you, Dale? All these guys are running so close together. 51.07, 08, 08.
It's like right now the track has gotten to a temperature and it's really not going to make any difference from here. Everybody's going to have pretty much the same racetrack as far as these 11 guys going out.
Now you see the gauges in that car blinking. They've got a range that they, when they're in the right range, they're green. When they're out of range, they're in red. Right now the car's not running and the switch is on. So you see that they're out of range, so that's why they're blinking red.
Maybe that's getting ready for a
Hear that little tap? That's that NASCAR official tapping on your left front fender and say, give me a lap here and see where you start.
25 or 26-year-old Scott Speed pulling out to qualify. He is a newlywed, by the way. Congratulations to Scott and his former fiancee, now his wife, Amanda Smith Mathis. They were married last Saturday in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So they're going to honeymoon in the Caribbean during the off week at the end of August. So you get the wedding done, but you got to put the honeymoon off.
Let's see if he can get the things done here. Last time they qualified, he qualified on the outside of the front row at Chicago.
Yeah, and
different racetrack.
His teammate Brian Vickers was on the pole for that race, and he is 6th fastest right now. So you got to think that they're sharing notes and would have similar setups right here for this qualifying session.
The big difference being that Vickers went out quite a bit earlier, and the track is some 15 degrees warmer than it was when Vickers qualified.
Yeah, that is one thing, Doc, but you have to look at Bill Elliott's lap and think that the track has to be pretty decent because he did qualify in the top 5. So with all things considered, he's still got a chance to make a pretty good lap.
And the other thing is he's racing. It's not about Brian Vickers here. He's racing against these guys that have just gone out. So that's what he has to compare himself to right here. And you can see right now he's getting the job done.
And he's racing for his first ever start at Indianapolis. He's not done that yet. The young man ran Formula One, but he's never raced at Indy. Right now, he's pretty green. Unless something happens there, it looks like he's got a heck of a lap going.
Comparing him against Mike Skinner. Again, we do that because Skinner is the car to beat in order to be able to guarantee yourself a starting spot. Only 3 of these cars will go home. Right now, the slowest car is the 75 of Cope, then the 09 of Sterling Marlin, and the 36 of Skinner.
It's like Scott. Scott's going to be very solid getting in right here.
Yeah, nice lap.
You're in 50-50. Good job.
Yeah, that's Jimmy Ehlers, the crew chief. It's actually a 63, Jimmy. You missed him a 10th or so.
Yeah, his watch always was a little quick.
He's always been quick on that thing.
Did he learn that from you?
Probably.
42 of the 46 cars have qualified. It is still the Martin Montoya front row. Back in a moment.
We're midway through the season. Who is baseball's MVP right now? VidPro 45, what do you think?
Well, I've taught millions of people how to harness the power of their computers.
What does that have to do with baseball?
With my CDs, I'll have you up surfing the web in no time.
Actually, we already do that.
What do you got to lose? Try my product.
Not everyone can talk sports. Can you? Join the debate live on the all-new Sports Nation, weekdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN2, presented by Toyota.
Whether you consider it a cruiser or a clunker, you can turn it into cash. Get to your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer and get up to double the government's cash for your old car. Now get up to $4,500 for your old car, plus up to an additional $4,500 cash allowance. No turn-in? No problem. Your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer guarantees everyone up to $4,500 cash allowance on virtually every model. Get to your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer on the double and get double cash for your old car.
Roundup Extended Control does 2 jobs at once. 1. Kills weeds to the root. 2. Forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control.
Undefeated professional boxer Floyd "Money" Mayweather has the fastest hands boxing has ever seen. So I've come to this ring to see who's faster on the internet. I'll be using the 3G AT&T Laptop Connect card. He won't. So I can browse the web faster, email business plans faster, all on the go. I'm Bill Curtis, and I'm faster than Floyd Mayweather.
Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network and get the AT&T Laptop Connect card for free.
My kids call me the shredder, because every bill I get goes right in my
inbox, not my mailbox. I pay for everything online so I can get these text messages. They're called spending alerts. I feel more in control. My husband feels
funky, bungy, and crunky, but I've stopped using my pets' names as passwords.
At Citi, we know everyone's talking about keeping money safe, and we've got lots of ways to help, like spending alerts. Because when your money's safe, your mind's at ease. That's why Citi never sleeps.
We dared Ted to try Long John Silver's new Baja Fish Taco.
Sounds weird.
Loosen up, Ted. It's just Long John Silver's famous fish and crumblies topped with Baja sauce for only 99 cents. New Baja Fish Tacos from Long John Silver's. Delicious. Sounds weird. Tastes delicious.
Mark Martin leads all drivers with 4 wins this season. He is currently on the provisional pole for the Brickyard 400. Our live flag-to-flag coverage coming your way Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, presented by Golden Corral, and beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Mark Martin, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Those are the top 3 right now in qualifying, and of course Bill Elliott is 4th. So 2 of the most popular drivers right now in NASCAR history, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bill Elliott, sharing row 2.
A lot of happy fans out there when this race rolls off. Those guys run competitively and got great cars for the race. You see Joe Nemechek now going down the front straightaway taking the green.
Talk about Junior being under the weather a little bit, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And that qualifying effort has to make him feel a lot better getting ready for practice this afternoon.
You know, I don't know how many times I've seen that. You know, driver's either sick or he's coming back from an injury. It seems like that they can actually run better. I don't know if it's trying to make up for something or what, but you see that happen a lot of times. Drivers that are sick or under the weather can actually perform pretty well.
Yeah, you see Mike Skinner there watching the lap to make sure that he's not going to get, or trying to see if he's not going to get bumped out of the show. And Andy, I wonder about that too. And Doc, I was going to ask you, is it, you know, the guys maybe they focus a little bit harder to qualify, but what I'd be worried about if my driver was sick is if how much pressure, if it were a head cold or allergies or something like that, is that seems to have a bigger effect on perception at a place that's as fast as India.
Yeah, that perception it certainly could. That's why they got to be very careful with regard to antihistamines and some of the things that can make them drowsy, or it may not make them drowsy until they dehydrate the car. Then they can really get significantly drowsy. Well, let's visit with Mike Skinner, who's watching these laps tick by one.
And Doc, you stand here. We're inside his hauler, and your wife is in here with you. You guys are watching car after car. What are your thoughts? Do you guys think this will stick?
I think these boys are going to be loading this truck here in just a little while. I hate it for Tommy Baldwin Racing, but our Camry just wasn't fast enough to get in this race, I don't think. Something really bad's going to have to happen for somebody else, and you got a slow car with a champion in it, so that's always a hindrance. But you know what? We gave it our best effort. We had a great run in our Tundra last night and made it exciting over at ORP, and we'll just go to Nashville.
Heck of a show last night. Great race, and I'm sure we'll see him back here trying to qualify again before the year's over, Doc.
Thanks, Jamie. He needs a break. Need Tommy Baldwin Racing. Tommy, of course, the longtime crew chief, and now venturing out on his own to try to get a race car and a skeleton crew to come to the racetrack and make some of these races.
Yeah, great job. You saw Joe Nemechek on the screen. I don't know if we documented, but he solidly in the field, qualified 30th with a 50.76. So nice job by Joe Nemechek.
Here's the former World of Outlaws champion, Dave Blaney, the Hartford, Ohio driver, out see what he can do in the 66 car.
Still comparing to Skinner. So far, Blaney is not faster than Mike Skinner.
And he's lost a little bit of speed there off 2. Well, picked it back up again down that long back straightaway.
Yeah, it looked like he gave up a little bit on the entrance of that to gain it on the exit and make that straightaway longer here.
A little bit loose getting in right there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. Don't seem to hurt him too bad. He got out of the throttle a little bit soon and picked it up, and you can see that helps him as he's able to stay in the throttle. Looks like a pretty solid lap by Dave Blaney.
Again, he has to beat a 51.138, and he will do it. And that will bump to 0.9.
You're in. You are the man. You are the man.
He's
that will
done a good
bump
job
Sterling.
of qualifying that this year.
Absolutely, and Sterling Marlin will not make the field. Let's go down and visit with Scott Speed.
Yep, Doc, we're with Scott now, and he has put this race car in the field. How was the feel of the car on the racetrack, Scott?
It wasn't bad. I told myself before I went out there I was going to take a nice, easy lap, but once it started going, I'm like, no, we're going to go for it. And I went into one. I kind of lost a little bit, didn't quite get to the bottom, and then the rest of the lap, I was like, all right, we just need to put this thing in the show. I mean, we had a fast car all weekend. I'm sure we'll be all right for the race. Luckily, we get another practice in this afternoon. With not so many laps on this track, it's certainly one that has a lot of tricks to it. That the more laps I'm getting here, I'm learning quite a bit more than you usually learn at a track. So we'll see. All things looking good so far, though.
You've raced all over the world. This will be your first start of any kind here at Indianapolis. What does it mean to you?
Well, anyways, going this direction.
In that direction, that's what I meant. Yeah,
yeah, it's totally weird. I mean, not only on the racetrack, but also, this was always my little America. Every time I'd come back, into America, it'd always be to here when I was racing in Formula One. So now that I've been here, living here for the last couple of years, everything seems a lot different now that I'm, back here for a race. So it's got a lot of weird little idiosyncrasies to it, but so far it's been great.
Scott Speed is in the Brickyard 400. Doc?
And, Doc, those glasses have got to be worth a little bit of speed, wouldn't you think?
I think he borrowed those from Petrie.
I've got a pair like those. Those might be mine.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but a guy that's first year in this and learning, I saw him at Infineon have a good race car, having a good lap going. He got to turn 10, ran off the track, and it cost him an opportunity to get his car in that race. So here, he said he attacked turn 1, was a little too aggressive, and then just put the car in the show. So you can tell that he's maturing as he goes forward in his first full year.
Here's the two-time former Cup Series champion, Terry Labonte. Texas Terry, trying to qualify here in the Brickyard 400. This would be his 14th start. Of course, being a past champion, a two-time champion, he's guaranteed a champion's provisional.
Yeah, he's the most recent champion, and so he's going to be in the race.
Also locked himself in with that top 4 qualifying run, so he doesn't have to worry about any kind of champion's provisional, although he would have one also.
Terry's only start this year was back in Daytona in February, Daytona 500. He started 43rd and got a top 25 finish down there.
Looks like Terry's going to need to use his here.
Clock's in 42nd quickest, so he definitely be using a champion's provisional, starting at 43rd spot tomorrow.
So now Bill Elliott's glad he ran fast, so he doesn't have to worry about using his, because it wouldn't be eligible after Terry Labonte used his. Goes to the most recent champion.
So it's all going to come down to the final car to go out, Max Pappas, and the 36 car of Mike Skinner. Pappas has got to run a 51.13 to be able to beat Skinner.
He ran a 50.88 in practice yesterday in happy hour, so he's got a car fast enough to do it. Just got to go out here and hit his marks.
You say that so casually.
I know, because I don't have to do it.
He is a two-time winner of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. He has run twice in the Indianapolis 500, including a top 15 finish back in 2006. We mentioned earlier he is married to Tatiana Fittipaldi, the daughter, there she is, of Emerson Fittipaldi, the two-time Indy 500 winner. and their son Marco there, his godfather Alex Zanardi. So quite a racing family there, and they're hoping to watch their husband/father qualify for his first Brickyard 400 here in a stock car.
And he's got 2.5 miles to get it done right now. That looked pretty good right there.
This is the critical corner right here. If you can get off turn 2 and down this back straightaway with some speed, as you can see right now, still not fast enough to beat Mike Skinner. He's going to have to do something down here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is going to be really tight. You can see he got out of the throttle a little early there, trying to get back to it sooner. It's going to be tough to do, though.
Ran pretty low across that corner, too.
Yeah.
So it bounced up and didn't get in the throttle as hard as it needed to do.
Here he comes, final straightaway to get in this year's Brickyard 400. Is it going to be Pappas? Is it going to be Skinner?
Well, he does have another lap.
And he's going to need it. That one doesn't do it.
You want 32. Not good enough.
You think that first lap was hard. You can see there he missed that corner completely. Car's just a little too loose to turn the steering wheel.
Talk about how the accomplished road racers seem to do so well here because of the flat turns at Indianapolis. Gonna have to dig deep on this second lap if he's got a shot to get in.
Now he's got too much time to make up. He's 7/10 behind Skinner at this point. No way he can make it up. It's too bad. It's great for Mike Skinner though. Mike gets in the race, but sad to see Max Pappas not be in this thing.
Yeah, it really is. But as you said, it benefits someone else, and that's Tommy Baldwin and Mike Skinner. Looked like they were going to be on the outside looking in, but they will race tomorrow.
Mad Max will not get in, and Mike Skinner, the former Rookie of the Year, will enter the 2009 Brickyard 400. It is official now. Qualifying is complete, and Mark Martin, the 50-year-old driver, has picked up his 4th pole of 2009, and his number, the number 5, sits atop the pylon. Now, probably as happy as Mark Martin right now is Mike Skinner, who held on to get into this field. Jamie.
Doc, we just talked to him moments ago, and he said there's no way. I think these boys are going to pack up and go home. How about that for a surprise?
You know, on the back of my Exide Tundra, it says start positive, stay positive. And I sure as heck wasn't very positive a little while ago, but Dawn from Exide is in there, and I don't think she knew whether to tell me, you know, it's okay, or, you know, at least you did good last night or whatever. So it's just been kind of quiet in there, but I hate it for the Germains and Max, but I'm really happy for Tommy Baldwin Racing and that we got our Camry in the show.
Well, you guys got it in, so the focus has obviously been on getting in the show and qualifying. Now tonight you have 90 minutes of practice. What do you do? Where do you start?
I just didn't go play golf right now. I'm telling you, we have not ran one lap of race practice. So I'm sure Tommy and those boys are over there hustling their tails off right now, and hopefully we can get this car a little more competitive by the time practice is over.
Mike, they might need your help. You better get over there. No golf for you. He's got his work cut out for him, Doc.
Thank you, Jamie. Now at the other end of the spectrum, at the top of the pylon, is the 5 car of Mark Martin. Vince.
Well, Mark said during his qualifying run that he felt like an old man. You left a little out there, but I tell you what, that was a pretty darn good lap. What's it feel like to be on the pole, not only for the 4th time this season, but on the pole at Indianapolis?
I don't know. It just feels so good for this race team to be driving their car, CarQuest and Kellogg's and Chevrolet and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, all my teammates, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon have been so incredibly supportive, and Alan Gustafson and this team are just, they're incredible, and it's just a privilege. It's such a privilege to do this, and it's really special. I want the Sloan family to know that that everybody here is, you know, is thinking about them, and our prayers are with you.
You're going to lead the field for the Brickyard 400 on Sunday. What would it mean to add a victory to the pole that you've earned here today?
I'm not thinking much about it. Let's talk about that after it's done. But it's cool. Really awesome. Was just awesome to drive a race car like this, work with such professional people. You know, Alan and all these guys that work on this car have got the biggest hearts in the world. And I was miserable all morning knowing that we were at the top of the sheet yesterday, and I didn't want to. I can take it. Okay, I can take the disappointment, but I didn't want to break their hearts, man. I really wanted to go out and lay a lap down, and I wasn't that thrilled with I was happy with the lap time, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think that was my best lap by any means. The car was sliding quite a bit, so I guess it's sliding because I was going too fast.
The driver, crew, and everybody around this group smiling right now. Dave Burns.
And Mitch, another driver who went very fast in qualifying, ended up 6th in the count, was Brian Vickers. You happy with that starting spot?
Pleased, but not satisfied.
Okay.
You know, I mean, obviously we wanted the pole. I knew we had a good car, and we had a good car. We went out, the track was about 14 degrees hotter than when Mark went out, and I know that hurt us some. That in mind, I left a little bit on the table, maybe a 10th, just not wanting to overdrive the car. But it was a great effort by Red Bull. I think we'll still have a great race car. Hopefully we can have a really good practice at the end of the day, and we'll go after them tomorrow.
So I was going to ask you next, you've got 90 minutes. Are you going to use it all? Do you need all that time? And what do you think of the conditions will be like on the track?
Well, hopefully we won't need all of it. That means the car is pretty good. But I think that we'll probably use most of it. I think most guys will. You know, the ins and out here take so long. You know, just to make one run, it takes a lot of time. So we'll use 90 minutes, but we won't make that many runs. Probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 runs. The important thing I think for us is a series right now is to get rubber on this racetrack. I've got to commend Goodyear. They did a fabulous job with the tire. You know, I think they came a long way since last year, and I definitely want to commend them for that. But that being said, we've still got to get rubber on this racetrack before the race tomorrow.
They added some in qualifying. They'll add a lot more in practice, Doc.
That practice coming up later today, of course. And so Mark Martin becomes the 13th different pole winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Brickyard 400. The question is, could he become the 10th different race winner? When we come back, we'll show you the entire starting grid, and we'll wrap it up from here in Indianapolis in just a moment.
Running a team and my racing keeps me pretty busy. I need insurance that's on my side. That's why the Earnhardt family's had nationwide insurance for more than 30 years. I get the coverage that I need at the right price for me. That's what you can get when you call 1-866-500-5555. I trust them. You can too. That's on your side. Get a quote today.
In the cutthroat world of pre-owned auto sales, there are the pros.
I have a $44 haircut.
And then there's these guys.
I think I made a sale. Andy wants to pay in cash, neatly packed in this canvas bag.
Well, that's a bank bag. On August 14th, if they want to steal this car lot,
the lot's mine.
They'll have to go through him.
What if I sell every car off the slide? That is rich!
Alligators! Who brought alligators? The Goods. Live hard, sell hard. Rated R. August 14th.
I was in the grocery store when I had a heart attack. My daughter was with me. I took a Bear aspirin out of my purse and chewed it. My doctor said the Bear aspirin saved my life. Please talk to your doctor about aspirin and your heart. I'm going to be grandma for a long time.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil cleans out up to 46% of sludge in your first oil change and continues to clean in your next change. Feel our ultimate clean, not just oil, Pennzoil.
The Craftsman Cordless C3 line. 25 tools, 1 battery. Bring on the to-do list. Innovation, better value. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin' Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin' Tenactin.
Tuesday nights, the World Series of Poker is all new. It all begins with the first ever 40,000 No Limit Hold'em Championship. The World Series of Poker, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN.
The legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where drivers come and say they're just a part of history if you compete here. And if you win at this place, you make history, which is exactly what someone will do here on Sunday afternoon. Our coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the 16th running of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Brickyard 400. Who will be the next driver to realize a dream of winning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? How will they line up? Well, qualifying has complete, and the senior sensation continues. 50-year-old Mark Martin has picked up his 4th pole of the year and the 45th of his career. He will lead him down.
Yeah, how about Bill Elliott up there in that 4th spot as he takes off, and Tony Stewart, who has to be one of the pre-race favorites, there in 7th.
Don't forget about Dale Jr. starting 3rd.
Marcus Ambrose, impressive qualifying run. How about the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, Tony's teammate, back inside of row 9.
And Jimmy Johnson, a lot of people's pre-race favorites, sitting there in 16th.
Some of the guys didn't have the laps they want, but I got to believe Jeff Gordon, folks, he's going to start outside of row 11, but the 4-time winner will be a factor early on in this one on Sunday.
See Joe Nemechek making the race.
Former winner Bobby Labonte starting back in the 16th row.
And Jeff Burton still struggling way back there in 38th.
And to come from the back of the pack, a couple of drivers to keep an eye on early. Kurt Busch is back there. And, of course, Carl Edwards also starting back there inside of row 21. That fills out the field. Guys, your thoughts on qualifying and what we're going to see here on Sunday?
I think Mark Martin just put himself in there as one of the drivers that you're going to have to beat if you're going to try to win the Brickyard 400 2009 edition.
Well, he's making me look good because I picked him to be the winner coming into this race, and you know, he's got so much momentum and such a dream season so far. A win here would really top it off.
Well, he certainly is having an incredible season, and I'm happy for him. But, guys, let's not forget, Tony Stewart is not that far back there in 7th spot.
Coming up next, we're going to head over to O'Reilly Raceway Park for some bonus coverage of final practice for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And we'll remind you, we are going to be back here very shortly with Happy Hour, the final practice for the NASCAR Sprint Cup cars at the end.